Hey, hey everybody. I've got all the mics open, so beware. We're going to get started here as soon as people start rolling in a little bit more. We'll give them another couple of minutes.
Chaz, your voice doesn't sound as clear as usual tonight. I don't know, are you speaking directly into the microphone?
I am. Yeah, it's not good if it doesn't sound clear. Let me double check some setting here. I'll leave your mic on, Cal, so you can tell me how it sounds. Settings. Oh, I see.
You want me to take notes, minutes?
Somebody needs to. If you volunteer, that sounds like a good idea. Anyway, Chaz, your voice is usually very crisp and sharp. That's why I mentioned it.
How's it sound now?
It's better.
Any better?
You sound like you're also
right.
not completely energized. That's part of it. You sound like you don't have your full energy there.
Yeah, haven't really started yet. I am disappointed with my headset. It's the microphone has worked for quite some time, and this is the second call that it's bailed on me. It's not time for a new headset. So, all right. How's the board look here? All right, we've got enough people. I think I'm just going to start reading off the agenda. Sound good?
Are we doing check-ins?
Yep. I'll do the whole introduction and check-ins.
All right. I'll shut up.
Oh, we're good. I'll meet you up. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. This is Chaz from Pittsburgh calling in. It's the Wednesday planning call for the Occupy National Gathering. We've got an agenda today. I'll be facilitating. The TA is kind of up for grabs now, and Lisa is kind enough to be taking notes for us. Let's see here. We're going to start off with the instructions. If you're not aware, the number 1 is to get on stack. The number 2 is to up twinkle. 3 is down twinkle. 4 is a direct response to something someone is saying. And 5 is what you hit if you're having a technical difficulty. That said, if anybody has questions, please put up a 1. Otherwise, we're going to start moving into check-in / announcements. I'm just going to go down the list. There we go. Let's see. I think that's good. We got a lot of people. All right. I'm going to skip Amanda because I believe she is in class. So I'll just, if there's something wrong there, Amanda, just hit 1. Daniel, would you like to check in and any important announcements?
Hi. My name is Daniel Hong here from Portland. Taking a break from classes today. And here for outreach, primarily for transportation and caravan. Check.
Thank you for that, Daniel. Joe Hawk, what have you got for us, buddy?
Hey, good day, everybody. Sorry I haven't been online or you haven't been able to do much anything. A buddy of mine had a stroke a month ago. Got out of the hospital a week ago, and there's no one there to take care of him, so I've been sort of pitch hitting for him. Came up with a new game plan, but I'll be able to get back to work here probably sometime towards the end of the week. Check.
All right. That's bad news and good news. Thank you, Joe. Amanda thinks you're not in class. Would you like to check in?
Hey, guys.
Hey, Amanda.
Hi. I am in class, but we're on break right now. Just checking in.
All right, good to hear your voice, and good work you're doing with the March Against Monsanto, Michigan. We've got Sally from Jersey. What's up, Sally?
Hi. Well, I'm home for the second week in a row. Just, let's see, working on homelessness issues here in Jersey and Bill Sandy recovery and like that. Check.
Thanks for those announcements, Sally. We appreciate it. Next up, we've got Donna Pirana out of San Diego.
Hi,
Donna,
sorry.
there you go.
Hi, it's Donna from Occupy San Diego, and really just kind of in the middle of moving right now, and so I'm kind of driving and doing errands, so if I'm not getting back right away to answer, it's just because I'm driving and can't get to my phone. But lots of stuff going on. I'll check in later as necessary. Check.
All right. Thanks for joining the call, even though you got stuff to do. All right. Next up is Brother Carter. Brother Carter, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Happy middle of the week, everybody. Yeah. Let's just go one way. That's forward. Just wanted to reach out and say that we do have something coming up here in Sacramento this weekend. Two things is wages, $15 an hour wages. We're going to start in Davis, California. And the other one will be in Sacramento, California, which is we're getting ready to get cracking on this fracking and the racking up in our state, as far as about these gases, that's taking us to nowhere when it comes to the conservation of energy. So those will be two things that I can announce right now that I'll be a part of this coming weekend. Check.
Good to hear your voice, Brother Carter. Yeah, lots of great stuff coming out of California, and this weekend is a big weekend, so thanks for the report back there. Let's see, Kathy, would you like to check in? Any announcements you have?
Hi, this is Kathy from Occupy Sacramento. No announcements right now. Check.
All right, thanks for checking in. Staying with the Sacramento team, that's Lisa. You're up next.
Okay, this is Lisa with Occupy Sacramento. And just a question, Joe, since you're on the call today, did you want to TA? I check.
Joe, your mic is open. If you'd like to respond.
I don't have the use of a computer right now. Right now I'm out and about doing some grocery shopping for a buddy of mine. But I could listen in, and that's about the best I could do. Sorry, check.
We appreciate everything you can do, Joe. That's fine. That's a relatively small call today, so we're doing good. All right, next up for check-ins is Mr. Gandalf. You got check-in announcements for us.
Hey, Gandalf from Occupy Sacramento. Working on that retreat. We're trying to come up with a date and a time, and we'll probably do that this Saturday at the General Assembly. So that's it for now.
All right, that's great to hear that there's a GA coming up. Nathan Sands, your mic is on if you'd like to check in and give any brief announcements.
Okay, hello. I'm here from Sacramento, obviously, and I've been spending the last month or so working on the website, trying to get that fully functional. And I think someone else might be giving a report on it here, but if not, I don't mind checking in. But I'm also working, so I'll mostly just kind of listen in most of this call. Check.
All right, that sounds great, and it's nice to have you on the call with us. I think that follows straight into our next speaker, which is Dallas Carter, coming to us from Brooklyn, I believe. Dallas, you'd like to check in?
Hi, yeah, this is Dallas calling in from Brooklyn. Yeah, I've been kind of going back and forth with Nathan about getting the website operational. For anybody that doesn't know, you guys can set up your user accounts now and start adding content. We're not ready to go live yet, but we can speak on that more later in the call. Check.
Thanks for that check-in. I appreciate it. All right, Cal, at the bottom of the list, your mic is on.
Oh, yes, once again at the bottom of the list. I just wanted to say I can't stay for the whole call we have on the second Wednesday nights is our core Interoccupy call to plan, and it starts midway through this call, so I'll be off in about 40 minutes to get ready for that, roughly. So I request that we do a couple of the items that I want to participate in or that I need to participate in, such as the question about the workshops and also the changing of the call time, because I wanted to talk about that in particular within the next, say, 30 minutes, if we can do that. For announcements, I would say, so I'll just give an update that we did put a doodle out. We've had 9 responses besides Daniel and myself who set it up. We've had responses from 7 women only. So if you want to have a say in what call time happens, please take the first doodle if that hasn't gotten out to other places beyond the list, I'm going to request that somebody share the Doodle link, because I put it up again another day or two ago, just to remind people about that. And because once what we're doing is we're gathering information about what parts of which days people are available, and then from that we'll come up with a set of concrete dates to propose, and we'll do another quick survey just to figure out which exact time is the best. So that's where we are with that. Actually, we probably don't even need to discuss it any further. We can take it off the agenda since I said that. So please come fill out the Doodle if you plan to be on these calls, and let other people who haven't been able to be on the calls, let them know to come and fill out the Doodle. The other announcement is that Jackie and I are still trying to get the listserv list up for the workshop and speakers and workshops subgroup. So that's still in progress. I sure think it'll be done by this weekend. So that's all I have to say about that. And with that, I think that's all the announcements that I have. Check.
Alrighty, let's see here. That is the announcements and check-ins from everybody. We're going to move next into report backs, unless anybody else has joined. If anybody else has joined, I missed them. Jackie, would you? Here we go. Mic's turning on. Jackie, if you'd like to check in real quick.
Hi, how is everybody? Yeah, real quick, because I've got this winter cold thing, so just chime in if something comes up that I know something about. Okay, check.
That sounds good. It's nice to hear your voice, Jackie. All right, everybody. There are 14 people on this call right now, and everyone has checked in, so we all know who's here. We're going to move into report backs, and let's see, I have a quick report back. We combine media and outreach. I'm just going to do the outreach section of the report back, and it just has to do with Facebook. We went ahead and, as outreach media people, decided that the secret group with 371 members really only had about 20 people tops who were involved in it, and so we had weeks prior made an open Facebook page and called it the NetGat 3 planning group. And anyway, so we shut down the visioning page for comments and redirected all the traffic over to the open site. So it's good. It's a lot of the core people are moving over there, so that's happening. That said, if anybody'd like to do a report back for media, please raise your hand. The thing on the agenda is about the website and Facebook toggle, and then the Twitter hashtag. So, I know, Dallas, you were on the call. If you'd like to talk about it, just raise your hand. All right. Well, the report back that is listed here on the agenda is there was a delay in launching the website until the Facebook, etc. plugins were working. We would like to request a launch ASAP without waiting further. That's what we decided on the media call. And Dallas, you'd like to chime in here, so let's see what you have to say about that.
So yeah, I guess where I need to chime in there is, as I mentioned before, I had to go and confirm with Nathan that if people want to start adding content to our website, so we can centralize all of our content and have one place to point media when we do a press release. Right now, that address is ng.net.may1st.org. Go there. If you don't have a login, you can go ahead and give yourself one now, or I can even set it up for you after the call. Just shoot me an email. If you do have a login, go ahead and log in, and you can let me or Nathan or anybody else on the tech team know if you need admin permissions to edit stuff. But you can start poking around and adding content now. And we just had a discussion on the media call about how it's important when we do a press release. If we point media to 14 different links on 5 different sites, what's going to happen is they're not going to click any of them. So we're trying to get everybody involved in having this centralized website sooner rather than later. Thank you. Check.
Thank you for that report back from Media Dallas. If anybody does want that information, just email it to the tech team email thread or the main email thread, and Dallas will see it for sure. Or if you have his email address, email it to him. All right, the last part of that report back, we did talk about the Twitter handles and did a little research on Twitter handles. We had previously decided to use the hashtag NG3 because it's small and sexy and beautiful. We're going to use that as a backup now because we looked into it and no one is using that to identify NatGat3. So that said, hashtag NatGat2014 is our going hashtag. There will be what are those called? Twitter storms, or when you use hashtags, we're going to be doing those to get the word out. So that will be referenced as the official one, and then hashtag NG3 as a backup in case we run out of 140 characters. All right, that is the media and outreach report backs. Is there anyone else on the call that would like to give a report back? Please raise your hand. All right, Lisa, there's a report back from Lisa. What have you got?
Oh, okay. I wanted to report back for logistics on the venue, and I'm hoping we can discuss this a little more on the call. But we have found that, unfortunately, our first site that we were looking at, Sutter's Landing, is going to cost upwards of $3,000 just to secure the site. They're all different fees. Fees, insurance, sanitation, separate fees for concerts, and mandated security. So we're starting to think possibly about sites that are a lot cheaper, although they may not be as close to Sacramento. So we're kind of we'd like to open up the discussion later on about sites. I check.
All right, we will bring that. Excuse me, we'll bring that in. I think in the new business. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks. Once we get through the old business, we'll get into that. That can come in under brainstorming. So, all right, thanks for that report back from Sacramento Logistics. Let's see here. Does anybody have a report back from, I know we have an Indigenous working group. I know there's the Anti-Racism working group. There's the Process working group. Anybody else want to give a report back from anybody that's been doing work? Because we appreciate it, and we'd like to hear about it. All right. Well, that said, that's, we didn't do much. There's not much to report back on. The next thing we're going to move into is old business. And real quick, Cal, I'm going to open your mic. And which one did you want to talk about first?
Oh, sorry. I was. Give me a second to get back to the pad. Yikes! Caught me off guard.
Sorry.
All right, give me 1 second. I'll be there. Okay. The changing of the call time and day, that's the one, but we actually covered that. So unless there's anything else that needs to be talked about, and Dallas just added his information, so we finally have one of the men who've responded to the survey. But I don't have anything to add other than to repeat what I said before, get people to fill out the doodle who want to be on these calls.
Sure.
That's it. Check.
All right. Well, is there anybody on the call now that would like to talk about the day-time change? Oh, hey, we have an additional person that just joined in. Let me see if she'd like to check in. Delphine, your mic is open. Would you like to check in?
Yes, hi. This is Delphine from Sacramento.
Thanks for joining the call. It's good to hear your voice. All right, Cal, you got one up. What have you got?
Well, I actually just wanted to report on what it looks like with the people who've actually rated on the poll so far. It appears that I haven't seen Dallas's information yet, so let me just refresh it to see. Yeah, it's still that way. So Wednesday, late afternoon, and we gave a range of between 4 and 8 Eastern Time, 1 and 5 Pacific Time, and so that seems to still be the winning time right now, but that could change if a lot more people weigh in, if we end up with, another half dozen people. But as of now, that seems to be the one that's being favored. So it might just be moving the call earlier or later from this time at this point. But again, please vote if you haven't and you want to have an effect on the call time or date. and encourage others to do so. Check.
All right. So, yeah, it seems like anybody who's on the call now is probably all right with the time, but we'll let the poll ride it out, and we'll find out what the people want. So it doesn't seem anybody else wants to get on stack about changing the time or date of the call, so that is moved off of our list. Still empty. So, alrighty. The finance working group. It's on old business because we're still trying to cobble together the finance working group for fundraising, and it determines what kind of venue we can have, as Lisa had said. So, that said, would anybody like to volunteer for the finance working group? It should be a powerful working group. They have the purse strings. All right, Joe Hawk, you wanna try to encourage other people?
Well, I don't know what good that would do, brother, but Janet Wilson, my partner in down at the Pueblo House, and she has higher work history in both banking and financing, and I'm sure that she did mention that she would definitely get on the team, and that all we need now is about 3 other people also do the same. In a pinch, I'll go ahead and volunteer for that team too, but it's always good to have probably at least 2 people from Sacramento on the team also. Check.
All right, thanks for that offer of help, Joe. And I know you had said a couple of weeks ago that you were going to sell your belongings and donate some of that to the fund too. So thanks for all the help with that. And for those of you that don't know Janet Wilson, she is a great stand-up individual, and she's super cool. So I'm glad that she has agreed to help us out with that. All right, if no one has anything else to say about finance, Jackie Spillane has something to say about finance.
Yep, hi. I'm sorry, I wanted to. In the last week, I was going to get out a couple of emails, like try and identify the different things we could do for finance, and I just haven't been able to. I've been sick, people in the family have been sick, but one bit of info I do have. Well, let me preface it by saying I'm a little disappointed because way early on Facebook, I thought there were all sorts of people saying they've fundraised before, they know how to do it, run big events, and that nobody really has said anything since then. I did get a hold of, I need to touch base with Linda Roberts or someone in Sacramento, because they mentioned they have a WePay and a bank account, but I don't know, that they want to use that for NACAT or whatever. I did get a hold of the Alliance for Global Justice, who was our fiscal sponsor last year. For people that don't know what that is, that means they're a 501c3, which is, some kind of legal thing where it's okay for them to handle the finances for us. We wouldn't have a bank account, things like that. So I don't know if we're ready to decide to do that. We can get back in touch with them. They could give me a donate page, which we had last year, that could go on the hub or the website, I'm pretty sure, and people could start to donate. What else do I want to say about that? But yeah, so then we would need to decide, is that going to be our main source? First, do we want to use it? Will that be our main source? Because I still think it'll be good for different groups to raise money, like the Caravan or whatever, if there's going to be a concert, things like that. It'll make it a lot easier than one little lump of money trying to decide, everything. One other fact from the Alliance for Global Justice, she did say that we didn't take advantage of all the services they have, and they do have, I don't think it's grants, but some sort of where other organizations will give you money. And she didn't really get into an elaboration on an email. She said she'd be more than willing to get together on a conference call with some people from Finance Group, once we have that established. There are 10 people on the finance email list now, but like I said, I didn't get emails out, and nobody else is right into the list. So, sometime this week, hopefully, I can touch base and we'll see who's who. And Joe, if you would let Janet know, just go to the hub and find where all the email lists are, and there's a link to go get on the finance list there. So I guess that's all. If anybody has questions or thinks we should make a move to go ahead with AFGJ at this time, you know, we can go ahead and do that, or we can take care of it on the list. Check.
All right. Well, you did get some direct responses from Sally, Kathy, then Lisa. We're going to go in that order, starting with Sally.
Hi. Oh, sorry. I thought I was just getting on stack. But basically, yeah, I had signed up for the finance group. I will help with the pre-event stuff. And, yeah, I think we should consider, we do need to do fundraising, but basically it's not a big, super expensive type event in my book. Check.
All right, thanks for that, Sally. And just so you know, Jackie got some twinkles out of Michigan from Amanda. All right, Kathy, you have a direct response to what Jackie had said.
Okay. I just wanted to say that, yeah, we had two big fundraisers, Andy and Bob. Unfortunately, they're no longer doing this. As for somebody in Sacramento being on the finance committee, I'll do it if nobody else does. But I really have no experience in finances, so if we'll pencil my name in unless somebody else comes forward that has better qualifications. Check.
Well, thanks for volunteering. I think a lot of us are pretty low on the experience and high on the heart and the hope. So I'm sure you'll be able to help out in some way or another. All right, there's Lisa with your direct response.
Okay, well, Kathy covered one part of it, but the other part is, Kathy, I'll talk to you after the call, and maybe we can kind of pump the brains of the two people who have experience but have left the group, and they can kind of guide you in that. I check.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, Andy and Bob are great guys. So, all right, Jackie, you have a direct response to, I believe, what Kathy had said.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify about, and which Joe mentioned about having some people from Sacramento. Well, none of us had any experience last year. I think if you can, like, manage a household, you probably can manage the finance. But the main thing we do on the ground is at least 2, if not 3 people to handle the money, the actual cash in hand. And for my vote, that would be someone from Sacramento who already is a trusted Sacramento person and can deal with that. But yeah, let me real quick explain how it worked with AFGJ. That kind of reminds me. There's 2 ways they could give the money. So we'll have a donate link. People could donate the money, and then we can do 2 things. You can request from them to send a check directly to anyone, any vendor, or anything that we may have need of, or they can release a check to a person or an account on the ground. And the way it went last year, we got money so late that we never had to have it sent to anyone except just ourselves. And they sent like a $2,000 check. Somebody had to cash that in their bank, and then somebody else had it in their hands to take care of all those little petty cash stuff, which probably did add up to a good $1,000 there. So that's all. I think we need, at least somebody on the ground to, well, during the event, need 2 or 3 people to back each other up for it. But that's all. Check.
All right, thanks for that, Jackie. All right, right after I read off the list of what we're going to do, I'm going to put the hands down because it's getting confusing. So, Cal, you have a direct response. You're going to go first, followed by Sally, and then Brother Carter, and then Sally, who are on stack. So I'm putting the hands down. If I put your hand down inadvertently, please let me know. All right, Cal, you have a direct response to something someone said.
Yes, this is I think it was to Lisa or Kathy, whoever just said a couple minutes ago about getting together talking about the 2 folk, the Bob and Andy who'd left. And I just wanted to say I had offered to have a conference call with Bob and Andy, or whoever it was. I forget the other fellow's name. Andy and what's his name, and Lisa. Just because I'm a relationship guy, and I think that given that the dynamics that had them want to leave this group no longer seem to be happening, we might be able to get them back. That would be my suggestion, because I think that's what, since that's not happening right now, it might be. I'd like to see if we can try to get them back. So I just wanted to say to Lisa and Kathy, I'm volunteering to help see if we can get those guys back. Check.
Well, that's a really nice offer, Kyle. I know that Bob he has an issue, a personal matter, which caused him to leave, and Andy, you may be right. It may have been the negative tone of some of the calls that we'd previously had. So, yeah, good luck with that, guys. I hope it works out. Let's see here. Brother Carter, you are on Stack, and your microphone is on.
Yes, I just wanted to address the finance. I'm on finance here in Occupy Sacramento along with Andy. Not with Andy, I'm sorry, with Linda and Bob. So we're the three people. We have the Occupy Sacramento account that's set up here. So if it takes me or one of us connecting the finances to get things done here in Sacramento, I'll do that. My only problem is with the fundraising part. I just don't have a lot of time because my plate is full already, and a lot of stuff that I'm already doing. But that won't be a hard thing to do as far as in the finance area. And then along with the WePay, the last person that had the account set up, they've been directing me to a WePay. They've been emailing me, but I haven't responded back to them because I haven't been able to talk to, get to the rest of our group part that works with finances. But if you guys need me in that area, I'm there. And also with Andy and Bob on coming back, I think that's pretty much, it's going to iron itself out here first. And then those two people, if they decide to come back to, support and carry out, they'll be on the call. And so that way we don't have to, stress about it or worry about it. But the conversation has been talked about, with both of them. And right now it's mending itself. So we'll just, like you said, just keep pushing forward. And like I said, we may get them back. Check.
All right, thanks for that, Brother Carter. You got some twinkles from Jackie in Buffalo. Before we move on to Sally on Stack, I'd like to ask Carrie Marks if she would want to check in. Carrie, your microphone is on.
Aloha, everybody. Sorry, I forgot about the time change. You all changed time, and I didn't. So, aloha, here I am.
All right. That is Carrie. She's on Hawaiian time. They don't practice the daylight savings there. All right, let's see here. Sally, you are on Stack. What have you got?
Yeah, I was going to say that the folks on the ground last year during the event were not all Sacramento folks. It was primarily Ivanka and Jackie and I. But it is good, to work together with, Sacramento and non-Sac folks. Before and during. I'm blathering. Hang up on me. Check. I don't know.
And there was a train coming too. The people in Kalamazoo, you're right. It was Ivanka from New York, and you and Jackie were on the ground finance. Unfortunately, I'm hearing you might not make it this year. So anyway, it sounds like we might have two kind of teams, like one focused on fundraising and the other one's actually working on dealing with the money on the ground. I know that we had worried last year about getting audited, which could be a serious thing. I don't think we got audited, but if we had all of our receipts and we had all of our hands in order. Let's see here. My agenda has come down. Does anybody else want to chime in about the finance working group? Please put up your hand now, or we're going to move on to more old business. All right. This one is, I think it'll be fun for everybody because we're talking about location. It was added by Lisa, so I'd like to, this is going to be the time where we Are we going to talk about this now or new business? Let's talk about it now. I've introduced it. So anyway, this is added to the agenda by Lisa, so I'm going to turn your mic on, and if you want to get us going on location.
Okay, thank you. Yes, what brought this up is we were about to submit our application for Sutter's Landing. That came with a $50 non-refundable fee, and when we looked at the application and all the incredible number of fees, plus I think a $5,000 bond that we have to put up that we'll get back if there's no damage done to any property. We started to think, in light of the fact that there doesn't seem to be anyone dedicated to fundraising, are we chasing a venue that we just cannot possibly afford? Should we be looking at way less expensive venues, perhaps those that are not as close to Sacramento? They might be between, say, 40 minutes to an hour and a quarter away from Sacramento, that where we might be able to get, for example, there is a Quaker house up in the foothills in Nevada City. I understand that at the last NatGat, there were a lot of people housed at a Quaker house. So maybe we could be up there. It's a very progressive community up there, so there'd be some good things about being up there. But we wouldn't have much of a presence in Sacramento itself. Maybe we could plan a march or two or a parade, but then it would be more like a retreat or a conference. So, I wanted to get input of, should we still be pursuing the expensive type of sites, or should we really dial back? I mean, somebody even found a half-built shopping center that's in Lodi, which is, I guess, about an hour south of Sacramento. Should we be looking at places like that? There's a parking lot that we found out that we can rent for a lot cheaper. So I yield, and I'd like to hear what people have to say about this topic. I check.
All right, that is a great introduction to the topic. Thank you, Lisa. We've got Sally followed by Nathan on Stack, and I'm just going to put myself on Stack right after that. So, Sally, what have you got to say?
Philosophically, I just hate to spend a lot of fundraising effort and so forth on paying for a place. We're Occupy. I want to go someplace where, it's not expensive and we can focus more on spending the money on bands and getting folks there and, stuff like that. Check.
All right, you got some twinkles from Dallas and myself for that one. Thanks, Sally. All right, next on Stack is Nathan. Your microphone is on.
Okay, yeah, I agree definitely that that's too much to spend, really, considering we have no money. I missed a few calls, so I'm curious what happened to the Discovery Park idea. I thought that was a nice area. And then lastly, I just saw an article in the news talking about how Sacramento's fees for events have gone up and up and up, and there's a ridiculous number of fees, but how West Sacramento has gone the other direction, actually, that they charge really low fees. They've got a pretty progressive mayor. We might face a little less resistance if we look just right across the river, though I'm not sure exactly which site that would involve. Check.
All right, thanks for that, Nathan. I know Lisa knows more about Discovery Park than I do, but I think it turned out that we're just never going to be ever allowed to camp there. Let's see, Sally, you got some twinkles from Amanda, just so you know. Let's see here, and then if anybody wants to answer for Nathan, please do get on Stack. So I'm next up on Stack. I definitely have to echo what Sally said. We're Occupy. We don't have money, obviously. We haven't begun fundraising yet. For me, I think I've said this in an email thread. To me, the venue is Sacramento, and that's that. If we can find a place for people to stay legally, that's one thing. But at both the Occupy National gatherings that I've attended, the venue has been sort of not available at all, and so we work it out as we go. So that's what I wanted to chime in with. And next up we have Jackie on Stack. So Jackie, your microphone is open.
Okay. First, I wanted to say when Lisa mentioned insurance, that's another of the pluses that the Alliance for Global Justice can give us. They have, I don't know what the amount is. I think it was like $1 million, but they can insure indoor events. So like last year when we were inside a college building, the Peace Center, you know, if we caused damage, that would have been covered. But they can't insure outside, so it's kind of a mixed bag. The other thing was, right, somebody mentioned Discovery Park. That's what I wanted to know, if that was impossible. I know that whoever it was said that there was no way camping would be allowed. But like at the last two NatGats, we had something in the daytime. The first year was in a park. Last year was at this Peace Center and in a local park. And then at night we had to find things to do. You know, hard grounders slept outside on the ground. Other people went to people's houses, the Quakers, churches, things like that. So there's another possibility. And as far as money, you know, in the first NatGat, it did wind up costing $500, I think, a day, maybe for the week, for Franklin Park. So having a fee like that just for the park would not be, you know, totally unreasonable, because it would allow a safe place to be without police intervention. But as far as all these other fees, like the security and that, I'm wondering how mandatory those are. We've never had, you know, any kind of problems with security. So that's all. I want to throw those few things out. I think that's all. Oh, yeah, and I agree about the further out we go, then it does become a retreat, or as people put it snotty on Facebook, you know, you're just having a whatever. I forget what words they use, but yeah, it's the capital of California. I'm sure people want to be right down there doing something anti-government. Jack. That
is correct, and I know there are homeless people in Sacramento, so I could be homeless for a week. All right, real quick, I've got Brother Carter followed by Daniel, followed by Joe Hawk on Stack. But Lisa, you have a direct response. I'm going to open up your mic.
Oh, okay. Actually, my request was, would somebody be able to take over taking minutes for me for a couple minutes? I have a call from Linda Roberts, and I've been trying to get info about West Sacramento from her, so I wanted to take that call for a few minutes. If somebody could jump in and take minutes, maybe Sally, you'd been doing a bit of that. I check.
I think Kathy may have volunteered, and Sally may have volunteered. Let's talk to Kathy first. You were quicker on the draw. Would you like to take notes for a couple minutes?
Yeah, I was going to say I'll do it, but I would be doing it by hand again. If Sally can type it right in, and then she can go ahead and do it.
Sally, if you can type it right in, please press the number 1. Oh, yep. Sally's going to take it. She beat you on the technological device. Thank you, Sally, for volunteering. Lisa, when you're able to take notes again, if you want to, please let me know, and we'll tell Sally to stand down. All right. Then next up here, we've got Brother Carter. Your mic is on.
Yes, I was going to say, we were discussing the locations. We kind of like put the cart before the horse. We can kind of wait for the response back from Stephen Payan to see what he's delegated, after. I'm pretty sure what he knows what Lisa has just discussed with you guys, but I know that he probably is working on something now in that aspect. And same as Linda when we say West Sacramento, because West Sacramento connects to Woodland, and that's one of the things that Stephen was looking at a lower cost. And let's kind of leave that open if we can, just for the moment. I don't know if Stephen's going to come on this call. I'm expecting him to be on it, but I know he has some other things that he's doing possible. But that's it. Check.
All right, you got some twinkles there from Jackie, and yeah, I know Stephen is really busy this week with the New Year and the big marches coming up this weekend, so that's probably why he's not here. Let me check. It looks like we may have gained a person. No, we have not. All right, Daniel Hong, good to hear your voice. What have you got for us?
Yeah, so I think I agree with several people on the call that the farther you go out, the farther you go out from the urban center, it becomes more of a retreat, more of a summit, more of a conference, much more work for transportation and caravan to do. But I do understand how expensive the first site was cost. And my primary concern with that, another primary concern I had besides cost, was just how much time in advance one would have to apply just to secure the space, just so that we can have it on paper. And because, once we have a press release where we find a brick and mortar, a grounded space, that will naturally attract organizers and attention and funds. So it's a cycle where everything's really correlated to one another. But I am for less expensive options and taking advice from NatGats Past about providing a day venue and then coordinating a strong network for night. Check.
All right, thanks for that feedback, Daniel. We've got Joe Hawk. Your microphone is on.
If I end up pushing one, I meant to push two. I'm sorry, buddy, but hey, I'm back online again. I got dropped there for a minute. Check.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm glad you're still with us. And yes, you got twinkles, somebody. All right. So we have discussed the venue a little bit, and Jackie is going to discuss it some more. What do we got?
Sorry to be come lately. I was just wondering if anybody on the call knows what happened with DQU, or maybe that's what Stephen is checking out. Check.
Hey, oh, sorry.
That's all. I was trying to remember what it stood for, but I think everybody knows what DQU is. Check.
Yeah, it's DQ University. It's the University Off-Res for indigenous people. It's, I think, about 40 miles west of Sacramento. It's right in between Sacramento and Davis. I don't know if Stephen's working on that or what he's working on, but I do know that that was the dry venue, which would probably be the same with any Quaker activity we had. We'd have to make sure that people weren't drinking and doing drugs, and even I know at DQU there's no smoking cigarettes, so that's for me that was a slight problem. But I think if we can find places for people to stay that are safe and have running water and electricity, I think that we'd be able to adjust. So nobody else has their hand up about DQU. So if anybody else would like to talk about venue, please raise your hand now. We're going to move on to the next item. All right, so there you have it. The hands are down. And the next item is revisiting old agendas for unfinished business. At this point, is there anyone on the call that feels that there was something from another call that we had discussed but haven't quite finished yet? Any ideas about unfinished business from old agendas? All right. Oh, there we go. Cal, I'm going to open up your mic there. What have you got?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say I have to go in about probably 4 or 5 minutes to get ready for the next call. And I don't know if Jackie's coming with me or not because she's part of that group. So you might lose both of us. So the one item, I went through this one. I facilitated the call 3 weeks ago. I went through the list of items on the call, and I noticed a couple of things that I thought still needed to be addressed. Well, the one that stands out to me is outreach to people of color, activists with active roles in civil rights and so forth. It's at line 217 on the agenda. I don't know if this was handled or not because it shows old business since I've actually never seen the notes for these calls. If that's already been discussed, then I withdraw it. But of the things that seem to remain on the old business, that's the only one that I thought needed to be brought back. That's the first point I want to make. And then as we move into the discussion about workshops and whatnot, I just want to say I hope that we do something around anti-racism. I think it would be important to do it. I know there's a lot of talent in the Bay Area around that, and so I think we should be able to pull it together. If we end up not doing the People's Institute training, which I think is still on the table, so for that to happen. But yeah, so those two topics are sort of related. I just thought I'd mention that, but I'll be leaving the call in a few minutes. Check.
All right. Well, if I don't get to say goodbye, thanks for joining us today, and that can be your checkout if you like. All right. We've got a nice stack. Thanks for inspiring that. There, Cal. First up, we haven't heard from Delphine. Delphine, I am turning your mic on right now.
Hi, thank you. In terms of that new, what was described as old business, I believe, sorry, or new business that we haven't gotten to, the one having to do with outreach to people of color activists, I did put that on our agenda at the same time as the item about the Undoing Racism workshop, and I would like to see both happen. I do feel, as the previous speaker said, that the two go hand in hand. That an anti-racism workshop that challenges the dynamics of white supremacy goes hand in hand with doing outreach to people of color-led anti-racist activist movements. And I think if Occupy Knockout planners can pull this off here, then we'll be making a major step forward because last year it just didn't happen the way that many of our allies wanted to see it happen. So, and I know I wasn't there last year, so I'm going off of what I've heard. But anyways, I would really like to see both of those happen, and I'm eager to help. And we do have a work group set up now to deal with the Undoing Racism training on the national level, and there's a research project happening locally also to see if we can identify some trainers.
All right.
Chuck, sorry.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, no, that sounds really good. The stack is growing a little bit. We've got it's Joe Hawk, Jackie, followed by Dallas, and then Brother Carter. But in the meantime, Lisa has a direct response, so your microphone is on.
Okay, great. In response to Justine, I would like to maybe at some point during this call, when we have a break, moving on to another subject, to find out what length of time people on this call would like for the training. Would they like a day? Would they like 4 hours? Would they like 2 days? Because I'm part of that group, and we're researching different lengths of time because we think that the best anti-racism training is the one that the most people want to go to. I check.
That's great. I do know a little bit about anti-racism trainings. There was one offered at Kalamazoo. There was a really short one that Kyle was nice enough to give. And then at Occupy the Midwest, we had one from the Peace Pools Institute, but it was an entirely abridged version. It was only about 4 hours long. I think that the point that the anti-racism people want to bring up is that really this should all occur before the actual national gathering, so that the organizers are the ones getting the training. And I think that might clarify things a little bit, but I could be wrong as well. So let's get back to the stack. We're going to do Joe Hawk followed by Jackie, and Dallas followed by Brother Carter. All right, microphone is on. Joe Hawk.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Just wanted to remind everyone that Pueblo House did get their fee 3 and fee 4, so Weekend Umbrella some pretty good positives from here on out. So if anybody needs help, getting some grants written, or just needs help being umbrellaed underneath us, that's fine. You can save a lot of money on taxes that way. Check.
All right, thank you for that, Joe. We've got Jackie coming up next. What have you got, Jackie?
Okay, and I do have to get off too, as Cal noted. It's our monthly Inter-Occupy call. I haven't been on one of those in a while. Two things as far as the stuff from the bottom of the agenda to be brought up. I know there was the vision proposal, or just a proposal for the NatGat. So that's something that needs to get done. And the other thing I wanted to mention, somebody mentioned speakers. We have gotten in the Gmail, and I got a personal email from about 4 people who want to do teach-ins. And I will get, one was from the International Campaign for Justice in Bhopal. It's coming up on the 30th anniversary of that disaster, which I guess is still the biggest chemical disaster ever, because 30,000 people have died from it. And someone from Occupy Providence. I know, Donatella from on Facebook wants to come and do something on the, I forget the name of that, the basic income sort of theme. And I forget who the third is, but I'll get an email out to the group, and then when we have that workshop group, we could direct it towards them. So that's it, and I'm out. I'll talk to you guys on the list. Check.
All right, Jackie. Thanks for checking out. Have a good call. Say hi to everybody at Inter-Occupy from the NatGat Planning Group. All righty. Next up on stack, we have Dallas. What have you got for us?
Actually, I think I might be out of turn here. I thought we were actually going to go into the subject of bringing in more people of color that are organizers. But it seems like we're still naming agenda items and not going into that one. So I'll back to that.
Yeah, we can definitely come back to it. I think that's what we're sort of talking about. We can get to the vision proposal, but yeah, outreach to people of color is what this stack is about, as far as I can tell. So let's move on to Brother Carter. Your microphone is on.
Yes, I just wanted to just give a little input on the racism part. With Delphine, I have a document here I'd like for her to get a chance to read, because one of the people that I was working on trying to get here was Dr. Cornel West. He's from here, number one, and he's already endorsed the Poor People's Campaign, him and his group, for me at this time. And I just wanted to get a chance to just let her know, let me get this paper to you so that you can read it. It's called... it's a Young Democratic Socialist. It's a Democratic Socialist in Perspectives, which is toward the socialist theory of racism. And he's the honorary chair of the Democratic Socialists of America. But I read this, and I think this would be something that would be we will be partly looking for in the discussion of racism. It goes more into the color. It goes more into the things that fit around the socialism of how we live each and every day around one another. And in saying that, because you have various groups, you know what I'm saying, that have their own defining. So let me give you this so that you can get a chance to read it, and then hopefully send it out to everybody else, and then see if that's something that you might want to focus to. And then as my focus on getting him here, that would be one of the platforms that he could come here and give a discussion on, because I know he's going to go over to poverty and homelessness, and because there's some other pieces to that I'm trying to get him to bring with him if he do decide to, give support in coming. Check.
That's great news, Brother Carter. If there was a contest for who can get the most twinkles, you would probably be winning. Thank you for that. We're going to move on to Sally. You had your hand up. You're on stack.
Yeah, but unfortunately I've lost it, so never mind.
I'm sorry. Oh, goodness. Well,
Hey,
it's probably
not-
really good.
No. No.
All right. All right. Let's see here. Lisa, you have your hand up. What have you got?
Oh, I'm sorry. I changed it to a 2. I was just going to tell Sally I can be back to doing notes, but she got my note. So we're fine.
Perfect. All right. Good news there. Let's see. Dallas, we're coming back to you now. And we're coming to the end of the stack on the outreach of people to people of color.
All right. Well, hey, what I was thinking on that topic is now, mind you, I'm not on the ground in California, so if anybody in California, specifically Sacramento, wants to speak to this, maybe you have a better idea of specific people to talk to. I know something I've been following closely since before Occupy is what goes on with police and people of color in California. Gary Brown's silence is deafening. Andy Lopez is dead. Alan Bruce Bluford is dead. Oscar Grant's been dead for years. And what happens? Nothing. No police policies change. The feds have to step in. Who can we have come speak to that? Check.
Right on, Dallas. I think we all share a lot of that passion against police brutality, especially in California. Maybe it's because it's such a big state and we hear so much about it. Let's see here. Donna, you are on stack and your microphone is open.
Oh, hi. You said Donna, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm driving around, so probably shouldn't be talking right now, but I'll try to get to a parking lot. I just wanted to say I'm twinkling a lot. I just can't get to the keypad. But one thing I would like to mention is that in the past week I've had quite a few interesting conversations with a great many people regarding things that NatGat should focus on, topics that Occupy should focus on. And one of the things that I'm really hearing a lot of is Occupy needs to get back to focusing on the banks, occupying Wall Street, occupying the banks. One person made the point that our initial bank transfer day, that's really when people, I think, started taking Occupy seriously, and that's what this person was pointing out. So I'm in favor of definitely working on some teach-ins and possibly some ongoing actions during NatGat to keep a focus on getting people off of banks, away from banks, and continuing to focus on the number one thing we've been effective at. Occupy has now not gone away, and we've seen, I know of 4 interviews with 1%er billionaires, one of which was Jamie Dimon, 2 of which mentioned the word 1%, but all 4 were whining about the way they're being portrayed in the media, that they should be emulated, et cetera, et cetera. They are feeling a lot of pressure on them, and they are not looked upon favorably. The fact that we have this missing or this mysterious situation with up to 10, as far as I know of, banker suicides. Something is going on in the financial world. Certainly I don't condone death or suicide, but something very heavy is going on. And I really want to remind Occupy and people here at the National Gathering that our focal point of occupying Wall Street and the financial inequality that stems from those banks and those organizations and transcends the world is what we basically have affected. I mean, we have affected the 1% directly. When we have people coming on mainstream media asking the public not to vilify the 1%, we are succeeding. And I think we should definitely not forget about that focal point, because that is at the heart of all the issues, is the banksters, and that's where we started. So no matter what, I hope that we can get some people to talk about how we can continually attack the banks, get people off of banks into credit unions, to help people with their foreclosures, and just continually put pressure on the banks. I yield, and I apologize for that being so long. Thank you.
That's great, Donna. You save it up and then you give it to us all at once. That was really great. Lots of twinkles all across the board, so everybody's really feeling you there. And yeah, you're absolutely right, because if Occupy did nothing else, it brought into the popular lexicon the 99% and the 1% dichotomy. All right, we've got a new stack working here. We're going to start off with Kathy and then move on to Dallas, and then I'll find all the other people.
Hey. Yeah, I just wanted to respond to Donna. The yes, 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 definitely. Plan on having the attorney for our foreclosure group speak. We've got some banks on Capitol Mall that we're definitely going to hit. Yeah, we haven't forgotten about the banks and Wall Street. But yeah, definitely. I'd like to see more speakers talk about Wall Street and the income inequality and all that. I check.
Thank you for that, Kathy. There we go. The hands have been put down, unfortunately, but I do have Dallas followed by Delphine, then Lisa with direct responses. And just so you know, so we're moving in the right direction here. Just we're talking about outreach of people of color, and I understand that core message is important as well. But if we're going to close out the stack on the outreach, we should do that, and then open it up on brainstorming ideas and things in the new business section. That said, Dallas, you are up on stack. What have you got?
I just wanted to point out that, Donna's comments, I definitely strongly support staying on the central message of, the bank. Wall Street's still a problem. It's still a huge problem. But I think, maybe some people over time have lost sight of the fact that, the bank, predatory lending is a people of color problem. Half of South Jamaica here in New York, half of South Jamaica is brown and black people that have predatory loans that have been evicted and foreclosed. A lot of people that suffered what was perpetrated in the late 2009, 2010 by Wall Street and by these mortgage brokers were people of color. We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that racism is one issue and money is another issue. It's all connected, and we need to make that clear to everybody concerned. Check.
All right, you got some twinkles from Kathy and myself on that one. Yeah, that's a great point, Dallas, because that's what the big poster says, right? All of our grievances are interconnected. Capitalism without racism doesn't work. So that's good. We're still on topic. All right, Delphine, we've got your hand up, and I'm opening your microphone.
Actually, I will pass because Dallas just made my point for me. Thank you, Dallas. Check.
Yep, he's a good guy to have on the call. Lisa, you have a direct response. What have you got?
Okay. First, I apologize. I goofed and put people's hands down. I was trying to put down the twinkles, and I did everyone. So I just wanted to take responsibility for that. And I wanted to also agree with Donna on what she said about the focus on Wall Street. And when we get to the topic of workshops, I had a number of suggestions that related to that. I check.
That's great. All right. Well, that's all the direct responses for what this began on the outreach to people of color. We're going to move to Sally on stack real quick, but I just wanted to say one last thing about this. It's incredibly important to me to do outreach to people of color, in particular the indigenous people that have been suffering under this system for about 500 years. When I met William Underbaggage last year in Kalamazoo, and he and I and others decided to try and help this thing happen in Sacramento, it was because there's such a large Native American presence in California. There's so many tribes that can be contacted, so many people to talk with. So my big dream is to get together with the indigenous people. They have the best gripe against capitalism that anybody can ever come up with. So, that's my 2 cents, and thanks for listening to it. Sally, you are up on stack, and your microphone is open.
Yeah, okay. I'm definitely, in favor of remembering the banks and the foreclosures. There was an awesome event by Occupy Atlanta up here in Newark, Occupy Our Homes. Although I'm not in favor of a lot of workshops per se. Well, I'm not in favor of a lot of lectures. Workshops where people are working together to advance causes is more my way of going. And so Occupy Our Homes would be a great thing. I don't know how far you guys are from Richmond, which is having some success with their home situation with eminent domain. And we're kind of wandering into the next topic here, so I'll check now.
All right, well, that's always a good segue, Sally. You got some twinkles from Gandalf, None Shall Pass, out of Sacramento. All right, so that is, oh, I'm sorry, I have one more thing to do here. Delphine, I think you had a direct response to either what I or Sally had said. Your mic is open, Delphine.
Yes, it is a direct response to Chaz, and also to the topic. And just as we close, I personally feel that we're putting the cart before the horse, and I put the cart before the horse when I posted this like above the Undoing Racism one, because I feel like we can't really have one. Yes, of course we can reach out, and we absolutely should reach out early and often to all of the different leaders of color, activist groups led by people of color that are fighting racism and many other issues that Occupy cares about, and yet I feel that we're not. I think Occupy would be gravely mistaken if we assume that these groups or individuals should come to Occupy based on Occupy's current reputation as not having done its homework and its due diligence to address racism. And I don't feel that is something that Occupy is stuck with for the rest of its life. I think Occupy absolutely can change that, but we haven't yet made the moves that will convince those who are not here to come, and I want to see us do that. So I do think that the training can be part of that and is not all of that. Thanks. Chuck.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Delphine. You echo perfectly the words of one of our allies from Idle No More in Canada, who, when he saw all the white people at Zuccotti Park, he basically said that we're going to need an army of anti-racism trainers. And that is a big problem, because a majority of white people don't understand institutional racism in a way that needs to be understood, and they're already going out of their way to volunteer to do something, and then to tell them they need to learn how to not be a racist. It's a touchy subject, but I agree with you, Delphine. It's not, the nails are not in the coffin. All right. Does anybody else want to talk about that? That's old business from old agendas, and I think we have, as a group, covered a lot of ground on that, and I know we're all learning. So it looks like we're clearing out a stack on that one. So that said, we get to move on to new business, unless we got a direct response from Lisa. What have you got?
Oh, yes. Would this be the appropriate time to do a temp check on what length of anti-racism training people would like to have, or is there another time on the call that this would be more appropriate? I check.
Right. I'm going to leave your mic open. I just we can definitely do a temp check on whether or not to do an anti-racism training, but it would be more like a volunteer list of people who want to, organizers who want to take the training prior to NatGat. So as far as like how many days of NatGat would it take up, I don't know if that is the right question. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. Well, as I understood it, the training is going to be offered before NatGat, maybe the day before or 2 days before, if people want a 2-day training. What I'm trying to do is try to get an idea of what length of training are people most likely to go to, and I don't know if it's a 2, I don't know if it's a 1, but it seems like it might be a waste to bring a 2-day training out here if not that many people would attend it. But I could be wrong, so that's why I wanted to do a temp check, maybe on 2-day training, on a 1-day training, on maybe something less than 1 day, say 4 to 6 hours. I check.
Sure. I know. Like I had said, that an abridged version of the training was offered in Detroit for people who attended Occupy the Midwest in the summer of 2012, and it was, like 4 hours long. So it was, from what I hear, it was greatly abridged. There was a training offered in New York City for the first anniversary of Occupy, and that was a 3-day-long training. Is there, if anyone is on the call that knows how long, because I don't think it's, you don't really get to decide how long the training is. The training is the training from this particular group. So has anyone taken that training, or does anyone have an idea of how many days? I know it's more than 1 day. And if not, then yeah. So I kind of think I mean, we can ask them for a different training, so what we could do is a temp check to see who would like to do a 4-hour training or a 2-day training or a 3-day training. Do you want, okay, Delphine's got her hand up, so maybe she knows about the actual training. What have you got?
Hi. Well, I know that the usual Undoing Racism training by People's Institute, that is what we're talking about, right?
Correct.
Is 2 days. It's usually 2.5 days. They had offered last year to give a 2-day training, but they have also provided 1-day trainings. And this is information I got from Lisa, who contacted their Seattle trainers, and they are suggesting that we get in touch with 2 trainers who are based in the area who were on the West Coast and in the Northwest who may be able to come down and give a training between 1 and 2 days. So I think that's really positive.
All right. Thank you for that insight about the length of the training. And real quick, do you happen to know, I mean, should it be done, while the organizing is going on, or would a training just before the event be something that would be worthwhile? Do you know about that?
I think that we should have this training before the actual NatGat, but having it adjacent to it, like in the 2 days right before, might make it a lot easier for folks from outside Sacramento area to be there if they get there a couple days early or a day early if it's a day-long training. I support that.
Okay, good. Well, that's good to know that it's a little bit lenient and that we would be able to work it out so people could travel easier. Real quick, we have Sally then Donna on stack, and then Lisa. I think we got a pretty good temp check worked out, so we'll go ahead and do that after we hear from Donna. But we're going to go to Sally first. Sally, please remember what you're talking about.
Yes. I'm suggesting that I don't know. There was a comment about for organizers as opposed to. I mean, we are all organizers. We are all. I don't see a dichotomy between the organizers and the participants, as it were. And whether it's before or during the event is not so material to me, I don't think. Check.
Sure, I hear that. Let's see. I'm sorry, I was taking a note and I had a response for you, but I don't think I have it any longer. So let's move on to Donna. Your microphone is open.
Hi. Yeah, and I apologize before if my comment wasn't exactly on topic. I'm in a really loud car, and I thought you were talking about possible workshops. I do apologize. Right now, my comment would be that I suggest that if we have a 1-day training, or especially a 1 or 2-day training, I would prefer, or I would think that it would be most beneficial to the trainers, say on like Monday and Tuesday, the week of NatGat. I know that the day Wednesday when people start arriving is very hectic, and it's going to be last-minute things. Also, when NatGat starts, we often have to adapt and change plans, which we had to do a lot in Kalamazoo at the beginning especially. And we're constantly adapting, so if we want to make sure that we have something available that is not going to get changed or moved around during the course of the training, I would like to see the organizers who most likely will be in the area. I know I'll plan to be in the area at least a couple days ahead of time to help with last-minute details, but it seems like Monday and Tuesday I would think would be the best days to hold a 1 or 2 day training. That's just my 2 cents. I yield. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that, Donna. Real quick, I remembered what I was going to say to Sally, and there's not organizer, volunteer dichotomy, but when you're organizing an event like this, it is easier for us to make the big mistakes than it is for people who are just attending. So that's what I wanted to respond to you, Sally. Joe, you've snuck in on Stack here, so I'm going to open your mic, and then I think we're moving on to the temp check. So here you go, Joe Hawk, your microphone's open.
Once again, I meant to hit high five. Instead, I must have hit 1 again. I apologize, but that was just a twinkle up.
All right. Well, it's good to hear the twinkles, and Joe, it could have been me as well. So thanks for taking the blame on that one. All right, Lisa, we're going to do a temp check. I think we got to, we're going to ask if we should do the 2-day training like is been offered, or if people want to do less. As far as it being during NatGat, I think everybody's on the same page. Do you want to phrase your temp check?
I did want to mention one other thing too. That there is a group, I think Delphine's familiar with them, called Catalyst, and they do training that is similar to the People's Institute, and they actually have some that does seem to be geared towards Occupy, and they do 1-day trainings, and they're based in San Francisco, so their travel expenses should be very minimal. So I'm hoping maybe a Catalyst could be thrown into the mix too for a 1-day training. I yield.
All right, that sounds really good. Let's see here. Do you want to do that temp check about the length of the training, or do you want to sort of? Oh, okay. Go ahead. Phrase it real quick, and then I'm going to put all the hands down, and we'll get ready to do the temp check. So.
Okay. This will be a temp check for the length of time for an anti-racism training. And if you like the particular length, and you can vote for more than one on this. If you like the length of time suggested, go ahead and press number 2. If you don't like the length of time, press number 3. If you just don't want to vote or stand aside, press number 4. So the first one, it looks like Dallas has a direct response. Whoa, people are voting already. We haven't even specified the question. So let me put everyone's hands down. Let me go ahead. Looks
like there was a lot of stand aside. So you can also not put your hand up if you want to stand aside.
Yeah, that's true. That might be a little easier to look at. So, okay, the first option is a 2-day anti-racism training. If you like that and you think you might come, or other people who are coming to NatGat might come, press number 2. Press number 3 if you don't care for that length, and you can just leave it blank if you don't really have an opinion on that.
All right. The numbers are coming in. And let's see here if I can do this right. So far, we're looking at 2 number 2s and 5 number 3s, with everyone else standing aside. I guess if you have a direct response at this time and you're confused, please just press the number 1 to get on Stack. So, that was for the 2-day. And I think I have all the, just for the note taker, once again, it was 2 twinkles up, 5 twinkles down, and everyone else standing aside. So I'm going to put the hands down, and let's do the same temp check for a 1-day training. Does that make sense to everybody? Go ahead and vote if you think that a 1-day training will be sufficient. It's 2 for yes, 3 for no, and don't do anything if you'd like to stand aside. Alrighty. So. Joe Hawk, while we're tallying the votes, I'm going to open up your mic to see what you've got. What have you got? Mr. Joe, you pressed the number 1. Is there
I pressed number 3.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I will record that. Is that a number 3 for the first temp check or number 3 for the second temp check?
Well, I voted number 3 for the first temp check and then a number 1 for the second. How's that?
All right. Well,
check.
Number 1 for the second. Is that a number 2 for the second one then?
No, I voted a number 3 on the first temp check. Then I voted a number 1 for the second temp check.
Well, actually,
go ahead.
Joe, if you're in favor of the second one, it's 2 is the one to push.
Okay. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah. Okay. Number 2 on the second temp check. So it's 3 on the first, 2 on the second check.
Okie dokie. Let's see. Who's taking notes? Lisa, have you got all that change?
Let me just go ahead. I'm writing it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and type it in. So it looks like we have. Let's see how many. So the 1 is actually a 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
5
I have
twos.
five twos for the 1 day. Let's see how many 3s. I've got 1 3, and then the rest are stand asides.
Okay. So the way Kyle has been doing it is if somebody puts up a 3, we call on them. And so Carrie, you've put up a 3 for both. So I'm going to call on you. Whoa. We're going to wait for a second, Carrie. Something might be wrong with your microphone. I'm going to try to open that up again here in just a second. Carrie, I'm opening your mic.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening. I called on you because it was a down twinkle, and I just was wondering if you were down twinkling because you wouldn't be able to make it to an anti-racism training, or if you just think it's a bad idea overall.
I'm waiting for the 4-hour or less option. I would vote for that because that's what I think. Check.
Okay, check. Alrighty. So, Lisa, your microphone's on. Your 2 temp checks have run the course. There seems to be, a little bit more on the less training side. A lot of 2s there for the 1 hour or 1 day, and a lot of less 2s for the 2 day. Do you want to do any more temp checking like this, or?
Well, yeah, I guess we might as well do a real short one too. Say, maybe 4 or 5 hours. And I also want to mention too that we could do both. We could do the 1 day training before NatGat. We could have a shorter one during NatGat. They don't preclude each other. So, we could do both that way too. It's not a either or.
All right.
Okay. So the last temp check will be if you would prefer or if you would like a anti-racism training, say 4 or 5 hours. Go ahead and press 2 for that if you like it, 3 if you don't like it, and 4 nothing if you don't really have any strong feelings. And remember, you can vote more than once on these.
Cool. I think, myself and many others included, just voted yes on all of them. It's all the help we can get to make sure we're doing this the right way. Just so we all remember, people have been working on issues against banks and issues against unfair lending practices and racism and all kinds of things for decades. Most of us are not that old. So anyway, we've got. Let's see here, 5 2s on that one, and the rest are stand-asides. So that concludes that temp check. I'm sure that the notes have been taken, and I think we're ready to move on to new business. That said, if anyone is not wanting to head into the new business section of the agenda, please press the number 1. And we're going to go ahead and move on to new business. Now there's 2 items on the agenda here under new business, and they are both brainstorming items. So hopefully this is something that will be interesting to people that we could talk about for the next 29 minutes. Let's see, so the 2 things that are brainstormed, first brought up by Lisa was what kind of workshops and teach-ins we like to have. We have talked a little bit about that, but I don't think we've talked much about teach-ins. And the second brainstorming issue is what issues do we want to focus on? That was submitted by Stephen Pion. Together We Rise is the theme, and but that is just a very general theme, so we can definitely brainstorm about what more specific things we'd like to focus on. So if anybody'd like to speak to that, please get on stack. Delphine has raised her hand first, so her microphone is on.
I'm sorry, did you just have my mic on? This is Delphine.
I did. Oh.
Okay, sure. I have my hand up just because I wanted to point out that the People's Institute trainers have said that 3 to 4 hours would not be enough time to actually benefit the participants, but that was a point of information on the last item. Chuck.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed that before we moved to new business, and Delphine is absolutely correct. 4 hours is not enough. I was made fun of when I said, but I took a 4-hour anti-racism class, and they all said, no, Chaz, no, that's not the one. So, you know, that said, institutional racism has been around for about 500 years, and it's just as strong as ever. It takes longer than 4 hours to even the most enlightened of us to get past that. So that said, thanks for the input, Delphine. Lisa, you are on stack, and your microphone is on.
Okay, so we're talking about the teach-ins now and workshops?
Yeah, I think that was the last item of old business, and now we're moving to the brainstorming section.
Great. Yeah, I was hoping that we could start brainstorming about what kind of teach-ins and workshops we would like to see at the NatGat. I wanted to list just a few that I thought of. Some of them I got from the previous NatGat, but I won't list too many because I want to hear everybody else's opinions. I'd love to have the Backbone campaign come out and do their training camp in artful activism. For those who aren't familiar with the Backbone campaign, they do a great job in planning actions. They make these enormous eye-catching banners, props, puppets, visuals. They incorporate music. They incorporate theater, and they really put on some very, very memorable actions. I would also like to see somebody. Let's see. Look, I don't want to have too much. Okay, somebody give some sort of a workshop about or teach-in on building effective coalitions with groups that aren't Occupy, such as unions, community organizations, grassroots organizations, indigenous people. And then finally, my last one would be maybe somebody mentioned earlier Richmond. Invite some people from Richmond, some Richmond activists, to talk about fighting big corporations. They have in the past successfully taken on Chevron. They're currently fighting Wall Street banks. They're trying to implement their local principal reduction program. Some of you may know that as the eminent domain program, which would basically be able to buy foreclosed homes back at current market value and resell them to the occupants at a much lower price. And they're currently the only city doing this. They're willing to stand up to big corporations. So I'd love to have them come and give us some pointers. So I yield.
All right, thank you for those ideas to brainstorm on. Gandalf, your hand was up and your microphone is on.
Yeah, the think tank has been kind of focusing on one issue we've become kind of obsessed with. The idea that an American plutocracy has already been achieved. And this is why I think this for me is the central issue. The kind of tipped over system which we're it's not approaching, it's already happened to us. And the task for Occupy somehow is to expose it and help us to upend it. And sometimes I feel we get distracted and kind of fragmented and, picked apart in a way with so many issues that we forget the central one, which is that 1% has a stranglehold on our democracy. And if we do not unseat them, almost all of our efforts are going to be futile. So anyway, that's where my passion lies and where I hope the National Gathering approaches that with the same kind of intensities we're talking about for our racial concerns. So I yield.
All right, that's definitely something that I think a lot of us would agree we should focus on. Sally, you're next on Stack, and your microphone is open.
Yeah, I want to echo support for Bill Moyer and the Backbone campaign. They were such an asset last year and so wonderfully cooperative, pitch in, as was Move to Amend. Just great to work with. Also, I don't know where TPP is going to be at that point. Hopefully, we will have either one or still be fighting, because that's huge. Water, food, there's so much, and certainly it all does come back to inequality and that, or democracy running away from us, or being pulled away from us.
That's right. You got some twinkles from Amanda there, and Amanda probably knows that the Backbone campaign are doing a nice spring training in Michigan, I believe, this month. So they are great people, and they were a great addition to last year's National Gathering. All right. Would anybody else like to? This is a good time. I don't know if these calls are the best way to do brainstorming or not, but we're experimenting with it now. Does anybody else have great ideas that they want to share? Just press a button. I'll take any button at this point. Lisa, we've got ideas from you. What have you got?
Okay, yes. And I'm really thinking in terms a lot of teach-ins in these ones. Have some teach-ins about eviction blockades, eviction protection, keeping people from foreclosed people from being evicted. It'd be great to have a teach-in on moving your money, getting your communities to move your money, and maybe tie in public banking with that. Also, I think I'd like a teach-in from somebody really knowledgeable about the media, both mainstream media, how we can improve our coverage in mainstream media, and also in creating our own media. And then finally, some of you might be familiar with the work of George Lakoff. And he's done a lot of studies of conservatives and liberals, and he's found that in general conservatives are much, much better in using words, how they frame issues and ideas. like for example, getting people to not like Social Security, and they call it an entitlement program. Recently, though, it looks like the more liberal people have learned this lesson in the gay marriage issue. So instead of always saying gay marriage, they started saying equal marriage. Instead of saying the right of gay people to marry, equal right for everybody to marry. And words have a lot of connotation and emotion behind them, and that would be something we could really benefit from learning about. So I'd like to invite, and he lives in Berkeley too. He's not too far away, George Lakoff. So those are my ideas. Just sort of things that we can learn, that we can take back to our own individual groups to make our activism more effective. I check.
Thanks for that, Lisa. There was a great meme by Lee Camp going around that had just what you said on it, and so you are following in the footsteps of one of our good people. All right, we've got Donna next up on Stack. Donna, what good news? What good ideas?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Lisa for her ideas. Those sound great. I was just going to mention that in terms of home foreclosures and direct actions can be taken, there may be people on this call that are familiar with Fort Hernandez, which was a home foreclosure project in San Fernando Valley, which was basically we turned the Hernandez family's house into a fort. Mostly people from Occupy LA, Occupy San Fernando Valley, Occupy the Hood, Occupy foreclosed homes up in LA. I lived at Fort Hernandez for 5 days. They held down the fort for over 100 days. I believe that Fort Lucero is still going on, and also those words have changed to Pueblo. And I do agree as an anthropologist and having studied linguists that a discussion at some point of words that we can use that are not offensive to each other should definitely be an ongoing concept. But in terms of foreclosures, I would love to have people from Pueblo Hernandez and from Pueblo Lucero come up to talk about those extreme foreclosure actions, how the occupiers help keep those people in homes. What happened, Nico Black certainly, a First Nation woman in LA, is the one who inspired Fort Hernandez to change their name to Pueblo Hernandez. Her home foreclosure was kicked out when she had cancer. So all of these people are right in the Los Angeles area. Certainly to invite them to that, we could learn much from them. In terms of other teach-ins, I know several groups that are working very hard that really want to have teach-ins. For instance, there's a group that have been working on the missing 13th Amendment. This has been taken up several times in the past, but the missing 13th Amendment, which may have disappeared during the Act of 1871 when Washington was incorporated, is a little-known fact about our history. We believe that that made the point where our young United States was hijacked back again by the 1%, Britain, whoever, right after the Civil War in the confusion. But we certainly lost an amendment that was printed in books for 50 years. Then it's a very confusing situation, but it actually is a very fascinating story. I would like to see this amendment, actually, the original 13th Amendment. I would urge people to do research on that. It was literally disappeared from our original Constitution, and had it stayed in place, none of this corruption, none of this crap would have been happening. There would have been no ways of having these graft and deals between countries, royalty, backroom deals. Our Congress and our President, if the original 13th Amendment was in place right now, would basically be just out. So this amendment, it has validity. It's trying, people have tried to say it's nothing for years. There's a man who did 30 years of research on this. No one listened to him. I'd like to have people like him come, because that missing 13th Amendment is a way we can fight retroactively, because we can show a point in history when a certain group of congressmen sold out the whole budding democracy, or budding republic, I should say. And then, anyway, I have some other ideas, but I know that this is a topic that is really, really something we can use in the existing government, which I don't agree with, but we need to be able to maneuver some way. It is a tool we can use if we can have it reinstated. Some congressmen in New Hampshire recently tried to get some attention brought to this issue. One of them has since resigned, and I have not spoken to them personally, but it's on my list of things to do. In 2007, Republicans tried to get this amendment reinstated. It's never been officially taken off. It might sound strange to all of you on the call, but this is actually, in my opinion, the best tool we have to try to fight to retain control as the people of the United States of America. And that, again, is something I don't really agree with at this point in time either, given the way we got here. But that's another story. So I yield. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Donna. Yes, that is. I know our mutual friend Lou is very interested in the missing 13th Amendment, and that is an actual thing for any skeptics on the call. That's part of the constitutional history of the United States. Real quick, we have a late joiner because that's how it is with Tricia, but I'm sorry we have it at the wrong time. I'd like to open your mic, and we're doing the brainstorming now, but if you'd like to check in, we'll start there.
Hi, everybody. I'm from rainy Philadelphia, and just wanted to check in and say that language is important. I agree with Lisa, and I think using the language that Occupy has, like skill shares. I like the idea of skill shares rather than teach-ins, because teach-ins kind of came from that college campus type thing where everybody sat in a circle instead of in shares, but a skill share is a different thing. So there's one going on in New York for Occupy Sandy, and I think just trying to identify those words that can resonate through people who've been involved in this movement. I don't think we have to think up anything new. We have a great store of a lot of powerful images and phrases that we can kind of mine for our own uses, because I think it's been a good media event, the whole Occupy thing. So I'm interested in getting artists and people who can make images for the media, and somebody maybe to take care of the Facebook a little more. That's what I would really kind of like, if we could manage the Facebook a little tighter. So I guess that's all I have to say. But I just want to give all my gratitude to all you guys for doing this, because it really is great work. And then I'll check.
Thanks for that, Tricia. You drew together quite a few good ideas with the language and and skill shares instead of workshops. So good twinkles on that one. Gandalf, you have your hand up. Your microphone is on.
Yeah, just while we're throwing around, radical solutions for huge social problems, we've been, at least a few of us, have talked about a second constitutional convention to address all of these issues and consider a restructuring of the American system. And while I know that's an extreme solution, so are a lot of the other ideas. I just wanted to throw that in. I yield.
Thank you for that, Gandalf. That's actually a little-known fact. NatGat won simultaneously at a convention center right there off the Independence Mall was the Constitutional Convention 2.0, and it was organized by the 99% Declaration people. There were representatives from all over the country that showed up, and I tried to get in and was not allowed. I was able to meet up with some of the delegates, which was interesting, to say the least, and as far as I know, nothing came out of the Constitutional Convention 2.0. That said, my brainstorming idea is on behalf of my buddy Dan, the president of ArticleB.org. We have been working with ArticleB.org pretty much since the beginning of Occupy to try to do what's called an Article 5 convention to propose amendments to the Constitution. And what it would be is 34 states pass a resolution that says they would like to have a convention. Congress would then count those and then call the convention, and then the states would send delegates to the convention. At the convention, they would propose amendments to be sent back to the legislatures of the states. If 38 state legislatures agree that it's a good amendment, it would be in the Constitution with no help whatsoever from Congress or the President. So that is, there is something in the Constitution to sort of fix the problems that we have. The trouble is there's no one counting them. So we're working on that right now, but as it stands, we sent them 42 applications, and they're not sure who should count them. So it's in committee right now. It's in both houses' Judiciary Committee, and they're trying to determine who would count the applications for the Article 5 convention. That's I think we could have some skill shares with those people in California. All right, Sally, you are on Stack. Your microphone is open.
Given Citizens United in the current political situation, the Constitutional Convention scares me to death. But that being said, Was there something else I was going to say? Nuclear issues, fracking, fossil fuel. I don't know where. I guess Keystone XL will be done one way or the other by then. Bold, Nebraska is an awesome group if it would like to come out. Check.
Right, that's definitely something definitely to think about, the environment and how important that is for, we can win all we want, but if the planet loses, then we haven't really won at all. All right, everybody, we are 8 minutes before the end of the call. The stack is clear, and we're going to make like a last stack here for brainstorming or any other new business that anyone would like to bring up, including agenda topics for next week's call. So we're getting the ones coming in for the stack right now. We're going to start off with Brother Carter, followed by Carrie Marks, and anybody else who wants to chime in, just put up your hand. Brother Carter, your microphone is open.
I just wanted to just iterate on the last call, person that spoke on as far as the connections of the things that are going on now. We're out here in Sacramento. We're in the state capital, so pretty much everything that's going on around our state, we know also what's going on around the nation. And in saying that, the anti-fracking this weekend, we're on top of wages, for the inequality. We're on that this weekend, and many other issues. So the thing about it is, once we see that in our visions and our ideas on the things that we want to do here, in Sacramento, is basically already in some parts of a moving mechanism. So I think basically what it is as we envision, let's see also what we have here in that connection that we can put, with that vision, and then that group can start, making things happen for that certain area. Because one of the things that I'm working on now is around the fracking, but there's a book that's being moved around called Energy, and it's based on all of the different mechanisms that our government and the people, private sector is using now and turning into energy, and it's based around what we're talking about in Monsanto's and the foods. And what they're doing is with our foods, with the biochemicals in them, and and using them and feeding us with it at the same time. So all of those elements are here. So I just wanted to just put that out there. So as you're envisioning these things that are going on in your state, they're basically going on right here too. Check.
All right, thank you for that, Brother Carter. Carrie Marks, your microphone is a little loud. I'm going to try to turn you back on here real quick. If that doesn't work, we'll come back to you. All right, Carrie, your microphone is on, and it's not making the noise.
Okay. I just wanted to share, I think you guys had a Skillshare with the Light Brigade last year, yeah?
The Illuminator people, yeah.
Oh, it was the Illuminators. Okay. Well, that was going to be my suggestion, was that if we had Light Brigade last year, we should have the Illuminators this year, because I know there's one in Petaluma. But if we had Illuminators last year, maybe we should have a Light Brigade Skillshare this year, because there are several. There's probably 5 in California. It would be I think it would be pretty easy to get a Light Brigade there to do a workshop on how to build the panels and hook into the network and all that kind of thing. Check.
That sounds really good. Those people are doing great work out there, and that would definitely be somebody we'd want to outreach to and have come and do some skill sharing. All right, Dallas, you are next on stack, and your microphone is open.
Yeah. Pardon me. Just regarding brainstorming on people we could have give presentations or skill shares or whatever have you. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the idea of a crypto party, but if we're going to do an event in Northern California, the AFF is right there. I think it'd be a great thing if we could get somebody from the AFF to come up and teach people basic encryption. Like, here's how you protect your email, here's how you protect your text messages. You know, a basic 1 hour walkthrough. I'm willing to be the point person to reach out to them. Even though I don't know if I'll actually be in Sacramento, I'll see what I can do to set that up if that's what people think is a good idea. Check.
That does sound really fun. Could you clarify for anybody who doesn't know, what's the acronym EFF stand for?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just tried to take that for granted. It's the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and Brigitte Young's daughter works closely with them. Also, John Perry Barlow is one of the founders. Some of y'all may know from the Grateful Dead, but he also invented PGP, crystal encryption for email. So yeah, they're pretty much the authority on how we can protect our comms from the government. I think that's something we all need to start learning about. Check.
I agree. If they're going to get in there anyway, make it as hard as possible. All right, Tricia, you are next on Stack, and your microphone is open.
Yes, I was wondering if we are contacting, or if anybody knows so much about the Worldwide Wave of Action. It seems like that's going to be going on starting next month, and they have like awesome graphics and things going on. And I didn't know if anybody, is into that or not. And the Occupy Solidarity Network. I think this is the time when we can, branch out and kind of ally ourselves with some of these other supposedly Occupy groups. Because if you're going to do something, now's the time you're going to step up and help have a national gathering. So, I'm wondering, if that would be outreach or what, because Brian had made a lot of connections before he dropped out, so I wondered if anybody's interested in connecting with some of these, solidarity networks and the Worldwide Wave of Action. Also, who is keeping the notes? There's notes on, like written notes on these calls, because that would be very helpful for me instead of the recordings. Okay, check. Thanks.
All right, thanks for that, Tricia. Just a quick answer from me to you. I've sent my resume to the Occupy Solidarity Network as requested. Justine Tunney is looking it over, and we'll see if I'm qualified to work for them for free. So that's that. The Worldwide Wave of Action. I know Lee Camp is heavily involved in that. They are doing great stuff. There's links all over Facebook to their propaganda dump. We can share and use all their propaganda. And it's their thing is the wave of action between April 4th and the 4th of July. So, yeah, definitely. And just to take this, Tricia, I'm going to get in contact with you soon about something about the Facebook page. So hopefully you'll be online after that. All right, we've got 2 more people left on Stack and 1 more minute left. So with that in mind, Donna and Lisa are the people. If you'd like to say your thing, and then we'll do our checkouts. So Donna, your microphone is on.
Thank you. I'll try to talk fast. First of all, regarding Light Brigade, Fresno Light Brigade is extremely active. I believe still, if someone could contact them, they come down to San Diego a lot and have a liaison down here. Also, regarding fracking this week in Sacramento, if everyone wants to keep ideas for the San Andreas Fault with 2 locked sections, we could have the big one, so to speak, if fracking releases pressure along that earthquake. So it's an idea to focus on in terms of a fracking meme. If people are working on that, I think it's uber important. I love the idea of a crypto party, especially post-NSA. That's quite remarkable. The Worldwide Wave of Action, we've put out a flyer in San Diego to reoccupy the Civic Center. It's caused, it's basically, we don't know what's going to happen. We just want to all get together. But we're trying to be part of that in whatever way of evolution could happen in terms of getting people together, even for 1 day to reoccupy the Civic Center. I've got moving going on, and so I'm trying to get to Sacramento. Where should I meet up with people on Saturday in case I cannot get there by Thursday or Friday, which is not looking like I'm going to get up there? I'm just wondering, where will Occupy Sacramento be for a GA? I can meet, I know I was told before there would be a GA. And, I'm sorry, and the other thing is, a friend from Occupy Sacramento, Occupy San Diego and Occupy Seattle a train basically with Bill Moyer and the Backbone Campaign will be at the fracking rally in Sacramento. He's got huge balloons and a giant floatable banner. So bring visuals to that. So I hope that inspires people in Sacramento to start thinking along those lines as well. I yield.
Thank you for that, Donna. Real quick, Gandalf, do you know where your GA is going to be this Saturday? Will you let Donna know?
Yes, yes, indeed. It's at McKinley Park at Alhambra and E Street in Sacramento, and that's at 3 o'clock. We usually try and meet a little early, but that's every first and third Saturday. We may be having another one on the 5th, but we'll see how. I just wanted to add one thing. We were talking about Together We Rise and looking for alternatives. And, you know, when the Arab Spring reached America, some of the feeling was that a great attempt was made to smother Occupy in its crib, and the 1% has really made a great effort to silence us. So at the end of our General Assemblies, one of the chants that we have used successfully was bring on the American Spring. Bring on the American Spring. And Occupy. I yield.
Very nice sentiment. I've actually heard people call this spring the American Spring, so that's you were prescient and advanced in that. Let's see here. Lisa, you are on stack, followed by Sally, then Brother Carter. And just a reminder, we're 3 minutes over time, but I'm totally cool to keep going. So check.
Okay. Thank you. One group that I think was at last year's NatGat that I'm not familiar with, and maybe other people on the call are, is called Occupy Grassroots, and they sound like they might have some good information for a skill share on building coalitions with other groups. And I wondered, did you want to put Donna and me maybe in a private chat, and we could talk about where to meet up in Sacramento for the GA and also for the anti-fracking rally? I yield.
If you have access to the board, feel free to do that. There are still 12 people on the call, so we're just gonna roll through this stack and go to checkouts. But if you too want to stay on the call afterwards, feel free, and all mics will be opened. All right, Sally, you are on stack, and we're gonna close it out with Brother Carter.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that yes, there are notes. They are on natgat2014.titanpad.com/7. And that same beginning of the website, but /46, gives you the table of contents to all our Titan pads, and they are legion, and they are awesome, and please use them. Check.
Did you just say that the Titan pads were legion?
Yes. There are many, and they are awesome.
But do they forgive? Or do they, forget? Anyway, you got twinkles from Donna and Trish on that. So that's where the notes are, everybody. Titan Pad 4, I believe.
7.
Or sorry, 7. Yeah, 4 is my favorite one.
Table of contents.
All right. Thanks, Sally. All right, Brother Carter, you're gonna close this on a good note. I've opened your mic, and what have you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna bless everybody to get on this tree. It's a group called their activist center. It's called the Chicken Foot Ranch. And as we've been talking about fossil fuels and the fracking and all of this, they've introduced me to a book that they're putting out and you pass along after you read it. It's a very interesting book. It's called Energy, and the book is comes from the Post-Carbon Institute. And what I'd like for everybody to do is to email Karen Perry, and then let her know you were referred by Brother Carter and you're interested in this book, and she'll send you the information and also the book because they've been endorsed. Now the email is chickenfootranch@yahoo.com, and you'll get a response quicker than any other phone number. That's how they operate. They're up in Colfax in the mountain. They have a beautiful thing happening about all of this and what we're dealing with now. And I believe that what they're doing now is going to be the leader And when we come to everybody here to Sacramento, this will probably be one of the things that we'll be discussing and talking about together because everybody will have that information. Check.
All right. Thanks for that, Brother Carter. Let's see here. Just to go over that for the note taker, it's chickenfootranch@yahoo.com, and we're attention Karen Perry to talk about the book called Energy. It's a pay it forward book that's going to help save the world. All right, everybody. With a clear stack and a clear conscience, we are coming to the end of the call. At this time, I'm going to go down the line and just ask everybody to, say a quick checkout and, look forward to seeing you next week. So let's see. We'll start up here with Sally. Sally, your mic's open if you want to check out.
Okay, it's been a great call. I've enjoyed chatting and planning with everybody and brainstorming, and looking forward to moving forward. Check.
Thanks for that, Sally. Tricia, your mic is open if you'd like to check out.
Yeah, I'm checking out, and everything's looking good. And I'm going to go through the list and the notes and see if, things I can post to the larger group. So through Twitter. Twitter's going good. We got 900 followers. That's a big milestone. That was one of my goals. So it's been fun meeting goals. I wish that we could draw everyone together and work on the same platform, but everybody's working on different levels, and with the medium that they're comfortable with telephone or social networking or email. And so I'm trying to, just wish we had an intern or two. That would be nice. But I think it's wonderful how much a group of dedicated people can do. So thanks a lot. And I found the Chicken Foot Ranch, and I'm going to put it on the main page in the Facebook page. Check.
All right. Thanks for spreading that good news there. And definitely. Yeah, we do have a librarian. We might not have any interns, but we've got Jackie. So there you have it. Let's see, Amanda, you're.
I'm here. Good night, everyone.
Thanks for being on the call. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. Have a good night.
All right. Mr. Joe Hawk, Pueblo, Colorado. What have you got? Checking out.
Hey, I enjoyed the talk. Got some good info, and I'll check that site out, Brother Carter. Thank you for the good info, and everyone enjoy their week. Check.
All right. Real quick, Sally, I think you have a direct response for what Tricia said. What have you got?
Yeah, intern. Wait a minute. Unpaid, not occupy to be interns. We are all volunteers together. Check.
That is true. We do volunteer a lot. All right, let's see here. Carrie Marks, I'm going to turn on your microphone here momentarily, and if you'd like to check out, please do.
Aloha. Check.
Thanks for that, and aloha from Pittsburgh. Donna Piranha, your microphone is on. Would you like to check out?
Yes, thank you all so much for everything you do. Much love. This is going to be amazing, and I would like to hook up with Lisa after the call if she wants to put us in a private room. Again, thank you all so very, very much for everything you do. I yield.
All right, thank you, Donna. Brother Carter, would you like to check out?
Yes, I want to check out and say to everybody on this call, just remember, each day we come on, let us remember we're on a love revolution. I learned that from Dr. Cornell Russell, and I didn't understand it at first, what he was trying to say. In everything that we're doing, it leads to something in a connection that brings us together for the concern of one another. And in saying that, if we continue to assemble together and provoke each other unto love and the condition of it, and the condition of it is what we do together to make a difference. And in saying that, continue to do what you do, and continue to come back to the call and bring other people back to the call. Because all this is right now is a soil that has a little bit of foundation, but we have yet to plant a tree so that we can branch out and grow. And there it is at the end of the day. God bless everybody. Appreciate this conversation.
All right, lots of twinkles for that, and yeah, definitely, Brother Carter. Thank you. Lisa, your microphone is open.
Oh, wow. How could I follow that? This is Lisa, Occupy Sacramento. Oh, you should come up and hear Brother Carter in person. It really something special to hear. Anyway, this is Lisa with Occupy Sacramento checking out. I'll get Donna in the private room and we'll talk about meeting up on Saturday. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Gandalf, you are checking out, my friend.
Well, it's been a great pleasure. I just wanted to mention that we're going to be having a retreat in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to be asking for input from all the Occupy entities for ideas, concepts, thoughts, input, so we can start sketching out a rough outline of the format of the national gathering. So I'll talk more about that next Wednesday. Okay, signing out.
All right, thanks, Gandalf. Have a good time at the GA this Saturday. I wish I could be there. All right, Delphine, you're up, and then we're going to do Dallas, then myself, and we're done.
Hi, this is Delphine. It was a good call. Thank you, everyone. And I'm feeling really good about our work together and very hopeful about the future of our efforts. I can't wait until we have a date and we make a few other important decisions, but I feel like we're on the right path. Checking out. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that, Delphine. Yeah, it's neat how you can sort of get to know people with their voices over time. Just keep coming back to the calls often enough. And that, what Brother Carter said about encouraging a friend, bring a buddy next week. This is getting a little too easy to facilitate with only 12 people on the call. So let's get back to difficult facilitation. All right, Dallas, your microphone is open for checking out.
Well, first, I would like to thank everybody for an actually fun, positive, and productive conversation this week. But yeah, it'd be nice if it was a little more crowded next Wednesday. I'll see what I can do about that. And also a reminder, because I think there are people on the call that weren't there when I said it the first time, there is enough of a website online at ng3net.may1st.org for you guys to go there and give yourselves a username, or you can email the checklist or email me directly and I'll give you a username. I see less users on this website than I see on this call, and that's not a good thing. I really want to get some feedback from everybody before we show this to the entire world and put out a press release. So whenever you get around to it, please do that. Thanks, and aloha. Chat.
All right, thanks, Dallas. Real quick, I've got your microphone still open. I've tried what I thought you said, and it didn't work. So is it ng3.net.may1st.org? Or please correct me, because that's not right.
Let me clarify. It's ng, number 3, N-E-T, no dot there.
Okay.
.may1st, spelled out, .org.
Thank you for that clarification. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to have fun in there. All right, so this is Chaz Schaefer checking out from Pittsburgh here, balmy Pittsburgh. We're having a winter vortex. And thanks for the call, everybody. I'm going to be absent from next week's call, so I hope everything goes really well. I look forward to speaking with everyone again in 2 weeks. Let me double check my dashboard here and make sure everybody's doing good. We are doing good. I'm just going to open up everybody's mic, starting with Sally because she has a 4 up. So Sally, there's you.
No, that's an old 4.
Oh, good. All right, everybody. Great call. Thanks for being here. All your mics are open.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just saying my friend Chris.
Except for Donna and Lisa.
I tried to go to ng3 at .may1st.org and it doesn't seem to work.
It's ng3net.may1st.org.
Oh, there's a net in there. Okay, let me try that again.
Yeah. I'm going to put it on the...
I'll put it out to the list in a minute anyway. But, it took me a minute to remember that after not working on the site for a week, to be honest.
Okay. Oh, great. Yeah, so you got it. All right, goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Nice.
Bye.
Excuse me. Amanda, are you still on the call?
I'm here.
Yeah, good work. Good luck with the against Monsanto. I got to tell, I did one of those where I helped with the one in Pittsburgh for the first one, and people had a really fun time, and it was such a diverse crowd. So, I mean, it was still a lot of white people, but very not typical of your Occupy crowd. Lots of kids there, grannies, and it was really fun. My mom showed up, so I was pretty happy, pretty stoked.
I'm pretty excited because we have a lot of Native Americans, and so, well, I would like some feedback, but first I want to kind of catch you up on what's been going on. So I don't know the people offhand. I know people that they know that actually got the permit and started a Facebook page, which is super exciting. So then I contacted them and was like, hey, you know, I'm an activist and I will be there. And I'm like, you guys need any help? And they said, yeah. So I joined Mark Reed. They're having a planning call for their March Against Monsanto. But I didn't realize on Facebook it says that it looked like it was a national call. So when I talked to him, he was like, well, no, this is just our local planning call. I'm like, cool, because that will give me an opportunity to let them see how a phone conference call goes and like just how it works and everything, so they know what to expect when we start our own. And so that's tomorrow at 7. And then I asked them if they would join me because I already set up a free conference call phone number and access code. So I'm going to ask them to join in that conference, and then they'll have those codes that they can share with people, you know. And then we're just going to basically just, I was like, we can look at goals and things that we want to accomplish, basically. But I also want to let them know that we should reach out to the Native Americans and really get them involved because there's so many Native Americans and just our history in northern Michigan. I mean, all over the world, or all over this country, but you know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot. And so I'm super excited because also, inviting them to NatGat too, and like just letting them know about that as well, and saying, you know, we're really trying to get the Native Americans involved, and we really want to hear your voice, and we want your voice to be just as, you know, heard as mine, you know, and so yeah, so then I also contacted some people because I want to do some screen printing, and I've never done it myself. I've gotten patches, but I've never done that, so we're going to do March Against it's the cheapest way maybe that I know to get the message out in town, and people can actually like take it home and feel it and like go online and you know actually do their own research. But maybe have a day beforehand. Go through town and pass them out to businesses and the people so they know what to expect when May 24th is. You know.
Yeah, no, it's really great. It's good you got in touch with Mark Reed because he's a great guy, hands down, but he's working in Lancaster. Do you remember that guy, Michael Bacias, that was involved with a couple calls and he was on the Facebook group?
Yeah.
Michael Bacias, he's a cool guy. I met him in Philadelphia. Anyway, he's on the March Against Monsanto New York City team. So if you are Facebook friends with him or have a way to contact him, he's the best. Oh, he's the guy that ran our facilitated discussion. You know, so I mean, he is just super cool, and I bet he has all kinds of great ideas on how to, you know, organize statewide for March Against Monsanto.
I don't find him on Facebook.
Michael, spelled normal, and then Bacias, it's Basillas. And then if you want, you could just look at my friends, and he's on that list. So you can send him a message or friend him up. I think he's pretty keen on just friending anybody. So. But he's a really good resource on that. Do you want to talk a little bit more? If so, I just need to go to the restroom real quick and then come back.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll be around.
Okay, yeah, give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
You like your new job?
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's neat. It's really unstructured. I'm used to, well, like, I've been at the restaurant I've been at for 8 years, and so like 6 years ago I took over the front of house training. So I'm used to a lot of structure in the workplace, but they don't have that same kind of structure. So it's a little, you know, it's to me it's inefficient. I'm on my something like 8th day of training or something, and I mean I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm ready. I can do my job right now for money, but apparently I have like 5 more days of training to go. So I'm sort of, you know, jumping through some hoops and playing nice. But once that part's over, then they better start showing me some money, or I will find another job. It's just taking forever. Today I was training as a host, which is totally, I don't want to say beneath me, but I mean, I know where the tables are, and I know how to say hello to people and get menus. But anyway, I would, like, I don't know, I mean, the training is so lax there. I was like, hey, can I take a few tables? They're like, sure. And so I went and took like 5 tables and didn't have any assistance at all. I just went into the computer, ordered these people's food, and did it. And I was like, okay, well, can I just start now? But no, apparently I'm going to go through a few more shifts like this. So it's good. It's a really cool company because they own several restaurants near my house here, and I get discounts at all of them. I know most of the people that work there, so I'm enjoying it, but it's getting tedious, the training.
You get to keep your tips from those 5 tables?
No, I had no intention of it, but the person who got the actual money, she's like, here, man, here, I didn't do anything for those tables, and so she gave me $12. So I was like, yay, $12. Went bought some ramen noodles for the children and a frozen pizza. So, but I'm not totally broke, right? Like, I don't really care about the money, but it is just like, come on, let me go ahead and do something here. So, like, you know what I want to do is revamp their entire training program. Yeah, I just want to, I want to like create a training schedule that people would adhere to. Like, my trainer was late today, and the other server was like 40 minutes late. I'm like, wow, you guys are running a pretty tight ship, huh? So, anyway, well, there you go.
The restaurant I work at, they're so lax. Like, I mean, it's great in one aspect, but it's so, like, confusing and frustrating at times when you're like, okay, like, I was told this, that person isn't here, like, whatever.
Yeah, well, it's one thing, you know, you can run your restaurant as lax as you want, but if you fail on this one particular thing, which is making people come back, then everybody loses money. And now I'm in their kitty, right? So the amount of business we do is how much money I make. So, you know, it just can't, you know, it can't express itself to the guests. You know, like, oh, sorry, we don't have any soup ready because all the people that make the soup are late, or, you know, it's you know, sorry, we can't give you good service because we had all these call-offs today, or, you know, so-and-so didn't get trained proper, so they're going to mess everything up. So anyway, it's going to be fine. And I don't think I told you, but what it is these people took an old gas station and turned it into a restaurant, and the theme of the restaurant is like white trash. It is totally funny. They'll sell you a 6-pack of Pounders, and you put it in ice into a cooler, and then send it out to your table. They serve food on metal TV dinner trays. Like, you get your ribs and stuff on metal trays that looks like a TV dinner. It's pretty funny.
That's fun.
Yeah. I haven't got a uniform yet. I just got my punch-in. I did 6 shifts before I got a punch-in code. And they assured me they'll pay me, although it's been 3 weeks and I haven't got any money yet. So I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, you'll pay me. So, I don't know. It's fun. There was people getting high. There was people getting out. You know, the manager on duty on Monday night was getting high out back with the chefs. I'm like, well, that's fucking great. So, I don't. Oh, what happened? Did your friend request him? Oh, I'll just recommend him for you if you want. Go on there and.
I can't. Yeah, I'm looking. I can't find him.
Yeah.
I had a friend that I didn't mean to click because my computer's so slow. I just clicked it. I'm like, oh, I guess we're gonna be friends now.
Well, I'll recommend him. I'll recommend you to him, or whatever, and that should expedite things. Yeah, at MAM, New York City, but I mean he's pretty active in the nationwide thing too. Here to his face. He's super fun. The first time I met him was in Philadelphia, and he made really good friends with somebody I'd met from Chicago that was on her way. And the two of them together after Philly, they walked in New York City. They walked to Zuccotti Park, the 99-mile march.
Wish I would have went.
Oh man, I can't believe I did. I was so afraid.
I wish that's something I wish we could do again, because just to have a long distance goal, and we're going to be together, walk all of those together. Whatever happens, we're going to get through it together.
That was cool. I remember getting a couple like Facebook people were like, do you know anyone in New Jersey that could put up these 50 people walking for the night? People did. It was really cool. And suggesting you as a friend to him. Okay, so that part's done. Well, it's hard facilitating these calls because I can't. Normally, I'm on Facebook and like finding information and doing stuff, and it's all I can do is just to keep track of who wants to speak next. Oh, so that was a good call. That was my third one.
I was actually wondering. You said you were going to be there next week. Who's facilitating next week?
Well, Joe Hawk was supposed to facilitate today, but that stroke happened. I have to work next Wednesday night, so I was kind of hoping that we, if there was going to be a day change, that they would have done it today. But I think we're somebody needs to look at the calendar. We're really this is not a time to start changing things. The date is still killing me. We got that deadline April 4th. So there's next week's call and then the week after that. So 2 calls from now, if we don't have a date yet, I'm going to start. I don't know what I'm going to say or do, but I'm going to have to say or do something, because no date, no fundraising, no outreach, no etc. We need a date, and it has to come from Sacramento. And we had a date, and somebody from Illinois changed the date with a proposal. But it wasn't an official date change, but that didn't matter because the confusion and the mayhem that occurred because of that. I'm saving up what I'm going to say to the guy that haphazardly decided to unilaterally propose a date change that got accepted by a temp check.
That guy from Chicago?
His name is Frank, and I totally. We're still friends on Facebook for now, but he caused all that fuss about the change, and then I called him out on it. I called him out on it in a personal message, but then it spilled over onto the page, and we had a little tit-for-tat argument where I was basically saying, read the notes, listen to the recording. This was not an official, date change, because the date change screwed up Willie Underbaggage, and it screwed up Stephen Payan. And they were very not pleased with it. And due to all that, Andy Kahn is out. He was our big fundraiser guy. Willie's totally out. Willie was as far as I was concerned, he was the main planning guy. He started having these telephone calls in November, and he started having meetings in September with people in California. He's the guy that went to Sacramento and said, "Hey, don't you think it's a good idea?" So. And hey, you guys are friends. That's good news. So anyway, one guy out of Illinois, has set me back personally. Set me back now 2 months. You can't ask people for money if you don't have a date. They don't take you seriously.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, I wanted to have one on the east side again. That there should be 2 going on, and everyone's like, "No, we're having in Sacramento," and I'm like, "There's nothing going on. There's no movement. We can." I don't know. I wish there was one going on the East Coast, because... Yeah, I think we could do that. The only trouble is, it would be cool if they were on the same day. So until we know the day. Now, there were some people in North Carolina that had expressed interest in hosting a national gathering, but I think maybe what some people, of course, I thought about hosting it here in Pittsburgh, which is centrally located to Chicago, Detroit, D.C., New York City, Philadelphia. Pittsburgh's right in the middle of nowhere, right there. It's easy to get here. Everybody can make a bus from the Mississippi over. Everybody can get a mega bus. But and the reason I thought about it, you get a lot of street cred. If you are the hosting city, then it's Occupy Pittsburgh's on the map. But
you know, we'd already decided that we should do something on the West Coast. Anyway, I'd love to plan a solidarity action here in Pittsburgh, but yet I need a date. Can't plan it. I can't believe we're 3 months into calling it, and we're still planning something and we don't know the date for it. So I don't quite get it.
The other thing is, Stephen Payan wasn't even on the call tonight, and and you have to have someone reporting back on dates. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's not dates. I'm sorry to say, but I really would like to, and I would even, you know, and I will, you know, I don't really say a whole lot because I don't have much energy in this frustrating situation with, you know, Sacramento, but I could do a lot more with what's on our side.
Well, before the call started today, Lisa and Cal were talking about, like, whoa, gee, I wonder what's going on, why we have so fewer and fewer people on the calls and blah, blah, blah. But this is what, I mean, what I've heard, too, is, like, there's, like, a vote of no confidence going on, you know, about Sacramento's ability to do this. But then, you know, Stephen Payan had the dates. He had the 14th to the 17th. He went to the GA, said, do you want to do this on the 14th to the 17th? And to, you know, get him to be the guy to come up with dates. Now, he came up with his dates. It was decided on, and then somebody, well, in his mind, somebody changed them. I've tried to tell him, I'm like, look, the dates didn't change, but then look at the event on Facebook or look at the memes with the wrong dates on it, and that's what he's seeing. And he's like, well, I came up with my dates. Now somebody come up with the better dates, and nobody's coming up with any dates.
Like, and that sucks. It's been like 7 weeks now. I mean, seriously, like, it's put us back so much, and the fact that we want to be able to plan so much, you know what I mean?
I'm not going to, like, call him out as being an infiltrator police officer, because I know that he was at NatGat too. Now, he didn't help out much. He attended, you know, and had a good time. He was in the picture with all the organizers at the end. But as far as I recall, he did absolutely nothing to make that event happen. Like, I helped cook the food, which is important. I also ran my ass off, you know, trying to make sure people knew what was going, you know, I called it, you know, directing traffic, putting out fires. Like, if there was, like, a problem, like, I found, like, you know, remember the kid, Fuzzy, or not Fuzzy, whatever his name is, Fluffy, from Pittsburgh, the guy who died of a heroin overdose in Chicago. He found somebody's kid. He found Rebecca's kid, Rebecca from Detroit. She had, like, 4 kids with her, and I think it was, somebody was supposed to come up with children's entertainment, but he was busy, so there was no children's entertainment. So anyway, Rebecca's running around having a hard time with her kids, and then I find this crest punk from Pittsburgh, like, wandering around with a young boy, and I was all like, hey buddy, this looks really bad, man. You should not be, like, with small children at all. How about, here's Jackie and here's Sally, and they're at the info booth. Anytime you find random children, please bring them to the info ladies. And, you know, so little stuff like that I did, but I didn't see Frank doing anything. And then for him to be so bent about the dates, it was the 21st or 25th. You showed up to NatGat 2, and it was right next to your house, you know, so it's like, how much easier, you know. And then, I mean, I did some snooping, some doxing on him. His girlfriend, Shetsy, is her Facebook fake name, but her birthday's on August 10th, and I'm thinking, like, come on, you didn't want to plan this around her birthday, did you? I will destroy you. And I looked into Occupy Placerville, or Naperville is the one they're from. There's like 400 likes on Facebook. Their GA consists of like 12 people, so they're complaining about, well, I'm going to take this back to my GA of 12 people in nowhere, Illinois, and we're not going to be happy about it. And it's like, dude, how many people did I really think were going to come from Illinois anyway? You know, it's serious. You know, and they kept saying for a long time, oh, school starts on the 18th of August in Illinois. Well, August 18th is a fucking Sunday. So, you know, what the hell? They tried to,
with the date, was that you could have came on Thursday, you could have left Thursday night, because no one has class on Friday. And, you know what I mean, you could have been there. Yeah, now it's, you know, if it continues this way, it's not going to happen. You know, because now they're starting to figure out, well, shit, we can't even apply for anything without money. And it's like, yeah, we should get on that money. You know, and it's like, well, nobody's going to show up unless we have a caravan. I got on the caravan on August 26th last year, and I've, you know, been working on it, but now it's like, you know, it's really, people are trying to plan. If they don't have something by April 4th and we start planning something in the East Coast, is that like we have all these different things promoted, which we could do for dates in Sacramento. But I'm just saying, like, there are so many avenues with so many people that are still so involved, and like we could be, you know, like Sparrow could be doing all of her things, you know, and different people that have all these great ideas, like, do them, you know, like, we're all going to be there, and whoever's around, and you can gather up to go to your little, you know, meeting, because not everybody can go to everything, you know, like, that's basically how it goes. When you have 9 different things on, like, it's up to you to do your little you know, like, hey, this is going on in 10 minutes, please come join, you know, I really would like you to be here, and doing mic checks and things like that, but you have to be involved to have a voice that's respected, you know.
Yeah, and don't get pissed off at Facebook. By April 4th, I mean, I'm not going to invest much more energy into this. If by April 4th we can't have like a date, I'm going to go ahead and just, I don't know, do something else. We can have regionals all over the country. We can have regional in, you know, Detroit or Pittsburgh. We can have a regional down in Tampa or New Orleans. I'm trying to think of where people are, you know, and like, yeah, just do a big bunch of regionals. Just send out to the network, like, hey, network, the national singularity is not going to happen. They might have a regional there, but as far as that goes, you know, a lot of the planners are stepping back to wait to see, you know, who else is going to do something. But I think somebody brought it up on the call tonight. Well, they were already living in a plutocratic state, and that, you know, we should focus on the banks. I'm almost positive that something's going to happen this year anyway. That's going to get people. We're not going to have to try to beg people to come in the streets. They're just going to want to be there. So in that sense, it might be better to everybody that really wants to work on a national gathering, get local, get ready, because, you know, once the shit hits the fan, people are going to be out in the street and not knowing what to do. They're not going to have the experience that we've had. I've already gone, going out into the streets and organizing people. So I mean, I love all the more time we have, the better.
The most important thing you just said I've heard in a long time, like, to organize locally, because they haven't been out there. They haven't learned how to organize on the streets. Like that's kind of like the pre-trial, you know, like, that's so cool. Like, that's exactly how it is. Well, they have no freaking clue.
You're going to have a really nice, I mean, like March Against Monsanto is such a nice march that, I mean, you're going to learn so much. That's what I love about this. The learning curve is super steep. You make a mistake and it hurts, and you learn, and you're better on the next one, and better on the next one. It's happy days.
Cool. I had talked to a couple people, and I had like 15 people that wanted to come together and like start talking, but everyone put so much pressure on me, like so much pressure that I canceled the meeting and I didn't have it, because I was like, no, those are not the expectations that I had set up for us all coming together. And the way you guys are talking now, and you're like expecting me to, I don't know, I think they're all great ideas, but we have to put them all on the table. We all have to meet each other. We all have to learn, you know, the consensus culture, or whatever that thing's called. Like, you know, it's not saying consensus method, but like getting to actually know each other and speak and have a voice, and then say, okay, here, like, what's a good idea? Should we do this? You know?
Yeah. You can almost tell too, like, who's not used to that kind of thing by, like, you know, like if they. I mean, I never want to discount the women, you know. And then today, like, there was only one person of color on our entire phone call, and then Delphine, who's, I'm not sure if she is a person of color or not. I don't know. I don't know her personally, but anyway. You know, like people like Lisa, like Interoccupy people seem to like to talk a lot, seems to be. Sally, Jackie, Cal, and Lisa, they're all Interoccupy, and they're all having a telephone call right now. So, I don't know, just the people, I want to hear more from the people that don't, like you. It would be great to hear more from. Because everybody else, I can tell why people aren't on the call, just like tired of it, tired of hearing the same people.
And I just feel like we're, you know, in a sort of spin wheels. You just keep spinning, we keep running, and we're not going anywhere.
I couldn't believe it. On last week's call, people were saying, like, no, there was no temp check on a deadline. I'm like, oh, yeah, that temp check that I did with all those twos that came up, yeah, don't you try to tell me that I did not call a deadline for the press release. And I kind of disguised it. I said, well, we should have a press release out by the 4th of April because that is a big day for Occupy. That's the wave of action starts, you know. And everybody's like, yeah, that's a great idea. It passed unanimously. And there were no down twinklings. And so, but what that entails is you don't do a press release without a fucking date. So by mistake, everybody voted that that's the deadline for the date. And so that might not be clear to everybody, but that's what I meant. And I really think by then, because the date got changed in the 3rd week of January, so now we're waiting 2 months on this. So that's long enough.
I think next week on the call, I'm going to remind them that because the deadline is the 4th, but our call is on the 2nd. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, hopefully in 2 calls from now we'll be able to work that out. People are working on the press release. You know what just occurred to me is that we're being...
Right.
You know, we're being recorded, just so you are aware. I'm aware of it. But just so you... I was like... yeah, now I figure. I'm just like, full disclosure, you know, we are aware we're being recorded to whomever is listening to this. So, it's good to be recorded.
Have these thoughts and, you know, ideas too, because people need to be thinking, what is the process? What are the steps even after we figure out dates? I mean, and what are the steps after we get those things done that need to be done, you know?
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed. We had the process discussion going on, but it moved to a working group. But the working group hasn't done a report back yet, and that's been like 6 weeks. So there's somewhere out there is a process working group that's going to try to come up with a process we'll use, and you know, we have there's some kind of process going on. Mhm. Yeah, I'm gonna check the dashboard real quick. Yeah, we're the only ones in here. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna go. My kids they go to bed at 10, so I can say goodnight to them. And you know, always good talking to you. So, good luck. Are you gonna be able to go to that training with the Backbone campaign? Is that close to you?
I'm pretty freaking sure, and that's my birthday week too. So. Yeah, I definitely. Nice. And that's the weekend before. Actually, I'm going to try to organize people from up north that are helping organize Traverse City's March Against Monsanto and the Petoskey one, and have them come down on Saturday, like be the day, like Saturday. That's one of the last days of the camp thing, and have them go through different trainings that are happening that day, and just get to know more people that are going, that are happening in Michigan. So, and hopefully reach out to more Michigan people and be like, hey, maybe Saturday, like, it's still all in the works and everything, but those are the ideas that I'm bringing to that. So.
That's great. I just saw the map today with all the different marches in Michigan for that. It looks great. You know Barbara Smith, obviously, from Occupy Traverse City?
They have an event going on May 4th, and I'm going to start advertising, helping with that, too.
Yeah.
They have so much art. I am so thankful for Traverse City. Like the Occupy Traverse City did really cool events a couple years ago. I think it was 2 years ago, and they had petition people there. Most of the men were there. They had local farmers. There was a whole room that was full of people that listened to people speak. If you brought your banner, you got to, or your sign or whatever, you could put it somewhere, and just it was amazing. And so,
yeah, that's great. Yeah.
But they meet every Saturday anyways at 11. So I actually had contacted them, and they finally got theirs all set up. So I didn't want to put them on that poster unless they had.
Oh, you made that poster?
Yeah.
Oh, nice work. It's really nice. It just shows like, hey, check out, because I mean, March Against Monsanto, they just keep getting more and more millions of people worldwide to go out on particular days. So good for them. It's funny, 2 days after that, there's these people, these Article 5 people, not the ones I work with, but a different group. They're for term limits for Congress. That's on May 26th. That's the day that they get rolling. They're going in all 50 states like a political campaign. It's going to be a really exciting spring/summer, I think.
What's that called again?
Can
I go to Article 5 and check them all out?
I only know them on Facebook, and it's Article 5, like the real number 5, like, you know, the Arabic number 5, and then term limits for Congress. So if you do Article 5, term limits for Congress, you should see them. They have like 85,000 likes on their Facebook page, and they've got about 30 state leads right now that are working. I don't think I'm going to work with them because I don't know if they're on the same page as my Article 5 group is, but I am going to try to find out if they're on the same page. Because I mean, like Article5.org, it's rolling. The letters to Congress have been written. The appropriate pathways have been taken, and really, like, if we are right, then as soon as they count these things, they're calling a convention. There's no question. We don't have to ask the states. There's already enough applications. So that's the big offense of Occupy.
I was thinking too, like, okay, so once we get everybody here and once everyone's there at the point and people are talking, there's chaos, there's war. If there's war, there's chaos. But if we do this peacefully and organized, then there can be real change, you know? And so like, we have to have these solutions, and I think it's cool. It's like, those are the steps that we need to take to get there, but now, like, I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, like, any good solutions to say, okay, we're going to change the educational system, and this is how, and this will affect this many people, and, you know, like, there's huge amounts of circles of people that will be affected if real change were to occur, and it would be so cool to, like, talk to more people that really want to start, you know, having discussion on that platform.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many groups all over the country. The problem is that they're not necessarily speaking to one another. You know, I'm involved with like a bunch of people in the peace. There's the peace movement. There's the, you know, the end racism movement. I mean, it's like somebody wrote an article called "The Movement of Movements," right? And it sounds really good, like a movement of all these movements together. The trouble is that we distrust one another, and you know, like Occupy is viewed as racist, and you know, the PETA, they're just like too militant, or you know, or Black Panthers, or there's so many people. We're all working toward the same goal, and I think we know that. It's just that we haven't figured out a way to work together yet. And to me, that's what I would hope that Occupy could do, but I'm not sure if that's what Occupy wants to do. You know, just from the call tonight, like that, you know, the anti-racism training, it's a great idea. I'd love to go to it. I don't have time. I can't go to it, you know, but maybe somebody could. But to bring that knowledge, cause like I said on the call, these people in the civil rights movement have been doing this for 100 years. They've got strategies and tactics that, you know, maybe people in Occupy have thought of, but I'm not sure that they've taken it seriously enough. Or, you know, when you ask, like, the black community to go out in the street and get arrested, I mean, a lot of people look at me like, you know, we tried that already. Where were you? You know, we went out, we got arrested, and we thought we were going to have social change, but we didn't get it. You know, the last thing I want to do is have to have the same fight every 20 years. Like, this should be the one to end it. And if we can get everybody to get on the same page and work together, maybe we can end it. But to have, like, a, you know, social movement every 30 years for some incremental step, like, oh, hey, women can vote. Oh, yay, let's wait 40 years. Oh, black people can vote. Yay, let's wait another 40 years. Hey, you know, it's too slow. Like, not at the pace, it's a breakneck pace at which the, you know, military-industrial complex / American government, they're working hard. They've got millions of people on their side, on their payroll. They're paying people to move forward, and we're just like, hey, anybody want to help? I am trying to get together with the Occupy Solidarity Network. They have the 401 or the 501c. They have the Occupy nonprofit. They have whatever donations are left. They have that. They have the website. They've got the Twitter handle. They've got the media, the Treasury. They've got everything. So, but unfortunately, my resume is now 2 weeks old with them. So I don't know if I cut the mustard.
Yeah, I guess I think I know a lot lot of things that are going on, and then I talk to you, and there's just so much more going on, and I forget that there's just so much going on all over the United States, all over the world, and
Right.
like we are so interconnected that it's crazy because they're small circles, but they're big circles.
Yes, it's totally true. The whole reason I got involved with the peace movement in the first place at Berkeley, I'm a philosopher. I study logic and old dead people's arguments and stuff, and philosophers have been working on these problems for like 3,000 years, and and that's what that's about. But then I got a little involved with the peace people, and I just got so pissed off. And in the late 90s when I was in college, I was like, wow. The way that the United States treats the rest of the world, that's my big gripe. I'm like, not with my tax dollars. No, you're not going to have war for oil. And when I found out about Vietnam being a false flag and not being a war that needed to happen, so those 70,000 people that died, it was all wasted. That was it. I was like, oh, our foreign policy needs to change. And so that was my whole thing. And then Occupy comes around like 10 years later, and what I realized, was that to change the foreign policy, you have to change the mind of the people. And to change the mind of the people in this country, you have to talk about domestic bullshit. And to me, it's all bullshit. I mean, yeah, it's horrible. Like, this abortion debate and the gun debate and like all these horrible Republican versus Democrat things. But it turns out, like, people are so caught up in that, if you don't, like, get through that with them, then you'll never get to the part about, hey, can we talk about world peace now? Can we talk about 7 billion lives on a planet that in my opinion, most of them don't want to die. They would like to just live, and how do we make that happen? So hopefully we get to that point. Right now, it seems like we're stuck in, these bankers are horrible, and people don't like protests. They don't like being against. They want to be for something, and that's why I love I Don't Know More. It's a very positive note.
I have a question for you.
Oh, sure.
Have you protested in your town before?
Yeah.
Held a sign?
Yeah,
Did chants and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah, it was kind of surreal.
This was my first time that I've ever, went out. When Occupy Petoskey happened, I was in Connecticut, so I never got to stand with them. So I'm super excited to actually, march down my streets and, hold a sign and be like, hey, guys, wake up.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's empowering and it's scary all at the same time because, you, see people. I was, for Occupy Pittsburgh's anniversary, I was out there, we were doing some global noise action, and some people, they were doing, a trick-or-treat, thing, they'd be like, which health insurance do you want, the 99%er or the 1%er? And they'd choose the 1% health insurance, and they'd, be like, choose any candy you want except for this candy. And these are all the good candy they weren't allowed to choose from. And then, anyway, so that was happening. But then all of a sudden, there's this guy who's like, Chaz. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Guy that comes into my restaurant all the time. He's like, you with these people? I'm like, sure I am. Absolutely. But the first time I went out marching was for a May Day march, and a bunch of socialists and communists and stuff. And it was surreal because I had never really experienced groupthink before. And so I'm marching along and I'm chanting and all this stuff, and I was really going from there was 5 different stops where they'd have a speaker say something, and I'm going from point to point in my home city, and I'm not even realizing what route I took to get there. I was just following the crowd, and it really hit me when people were like, what did they say? They're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm like, we don't want no fucking war, and that's from the 60s, but they said, we declare a class war, and that's when I realized, oh man.
You are currently the only person in this conference.